Chapter 199. There were a total of 10 arenas in the inner deathmatch arena, each larger than the other. Ning Yu followed Gu Fei's gaze and saw that the two of them were tied together and thrown onto the last deathmatch arena. Taking a deep breath and doing his best to calm himself down, Gu Fei took a step forward and walked into the death arena. Swoosh! However, just as Gu Fei stepped into the inner deathmatch arena, a figure suddenly appeared and blocked his way. "I want to see Deacon Pang," Gu Fei said in a deep voice as he looked at the figure in front of him. It's not impossible to see Deacon Pang, but you have to defeat me." With a smile, the person in front of Gu Fei leaped onto the first deathmatch arena. Seeing this, Ning Yu's eyes slightly narrowed. It seemed that Deacon Pang wanted to force Gu Fei to his death. Although the deathmatch arena was not to the extent of fighting to the death, one had to admit defeat. Ning Yu could see that the martial artist on the deathmatch arena was in the middle stage of the true martial realm, and his strength definitely surpassed Gu Fei. In other words, if Gu Fei went on stage, only death awaited him. He couldn't even admit defeat. Moreover, in the current situation, even if Gu Fei admitted defeat, he would very likely be killed on the deathmatch arena. After pondering for a moment, Ning Yu took a step forward and came to the side of the deathmatch arena. "I wonder if I can replace Gu Fei to fight with you?" "You? Of course." Sun Song was not surprised by Ning Yu's action at all. He said directly, "If you defeat me, not only can you enter the inner deathmatch arena, you can even enter the top 10 of the deathmatch ranking." "Oh, it seems that you are ranked 10th on the deathmatch ranking." Ning Yu raised his eyebrows and said indifferently, "If I defeat you, I should be able to obtain high-grade yuan crystals, right?" If you defeat me, you will naturally obtain high-grade yuan crystals." 100,000 high-grade yuan crystals, Sun Song said with a sinister smile. Swoosh! As soon as Sun Song finished speaking, Ning Yu leaped onto the deathmatch arena. What? Ning Yu's performance was very calm, but Lu Wei was very shocked. The top 10 martial artists on the death arena list were all fierce people. When Ning Yu fought with them, Lu Wei was a little worried. "Miss Lu, don't worry. Although Sun Song is ranked 10th on the death arena ranking, he's far from being a match for Ning Yu." Gu Fei was very clear on how strong Ning Yu was. Unless the top 5 powerhouses of the death arena list made a move, there was no one on the entire death arena list who could contend with Ning Yu. Bang! Lu Wei wanted to say something, but she shut her mouth tightly and looked towards the deathmatch arena. Because on the deathmatch arena, Ning Yu was already fighting with Sun Song. After the strike, Sun Song and Ning Yu took a few steps back at the same time and stabilized themselves at the edge of the arena. Indeed, much stronger than that trash Gu Fei. Sun Song did not care at all that he did not gain the upper hand in the first move. Instead, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile, and he said, "But it's a pity that you met me. Today is destined to be a tragedy." Swish! In the next instant, essence qi gushed out from Sun Song's sea of consciousness. Both feet stomping on the ground, his body turned into an afterimage and rushed straight at Ning Yu. Seeing the situation, Ning Yu's face was devoid of joy or sorrow. The essence qi in the qi whirlpool quietly appeared on his wrist, and then he pushed out with a palm. While Ning Yu and Sun Song were fighting, in a hidden room in the inner deathmatch arena, 2 martial artists were conversing. "Deacon Pang, isn't it just killing a person? Is there a need to go through so much trouble?" A late-stage, true martial realm martial artist curled his lips and said, Killing depends on who." Deacon Pang was a fatty of full 150 caddies. When he smiled, even his eyes could not be seen. "Do you know who that little girl outside is?" "Who is she?" The late-stage true martial realm martial artist said with a frown. "The only daughter of the Snow Domain Pavilion's current pavilion master," Deacon Pang said. "If we kill her here, I'm afraid the Snow Domain Pavilion will go all out against us." Deacon Pang showed his wise side and continued, Wan Chongqing thinks I'm a fool. He only gave me 2 million high-grade essence crystals to help him kill Lu Wei. He's too naive. Hearing Lu Wei's identity, the late-stage true martial realm martial artist was a little puzzled and said, "Why do we want to capture Gu Fei's family?" Deacon Pang said indifferently, "The purpose of capturing Gu Fei's family is to attract the person who is fighting with Sun Song. His head is worth a lot more than Lu Wei's. On the capital's Zhang family's wanted list, he is ranked 10th. Hiss." This time, the late-stage true martial realm martial artist's face finally revealed a shocked expression. Even his eyes were filled with fear as he sucked in a breath of cold air. Deacon Pang, to deal with the top 10 martial artists on the Zhang family's wanted list, I'm afraid it's not enough to rely on those people on the death arena list, right? The late-stage true martial realm martial artist was a little worried. The top 10 martial artists on the Zhang family's wanted list are all at the peak of the true martial realm or half a step into the Yuan Dan realm. They are all extremely powerful. Only the top 3 martial artists on the deathmatch list can do anything to them. Hee, you don't have to worry about this. Waving his hand, Deacon Pang said, the 4th to 10th martial artists on the death arena list have all been hired by Wan Chongqing with a large sum of money. Their purpose is to kill Ningyu. Now, let them exchange pointers with Ningyu. It will also be convenient for us to observe Ningyu's strength. In the last 2 arenas, we will send our people. Deacon Pang, who do you think is more suitable? The late-stage, true martial realm martial artist asked. Swift Dragon Wu Lei, Whirlwind Kick Hong Tai. Deacon Pang said in a deep voice. Bang, bang. At the same time, on the death arena, Ningyu's eyes narrowed. Grasping a flaw in Sun Song's defense, he punched him out of the death arena. After punching Sun Song out of the death arena, Ningyu also jumped down and came to Sun Song's side. He stretched out his hand and said, "Hand over 100,000 high-grade origin crystals." You, Pucci. Seeing Ningyu's action, Sun Song spat out a mouthful of blood, closed his eyes and fainted. Air. Seeing Sun Song faint, Ningyu frowned and muttered, "I didn't use my full strength just now. He shouldn't have fainted, right?" Xiu. Just at this moment, a one-eyed cultivator appeared in the air and said indifferently, "I'll wait for you at the 7th deathmatch arena. As long as you can make it there, I'll give you the high-grade essence crystals that you deserve." One-eyed dragon, ranked 4th on the death arena list. Seeing the sudden appearance of the one-eyed martial artist, Gu Fei's face changed drastically. Even his voice trembled a little. Pinnacle of true martial realm late stage. I didn't expect someone to recognize me after I stopped fighting for half a year. It really isn't easy. The corner of the one-eyed dragon's mouth curled up. One-eyed, I can't be bothered to challenge some death arena. Why don't you tell me how many high-grade origin crystals I will get if I defeat you? Ningyu shrugged and said, "Ha ha ha," as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. The one-eyed dragon roared with laughter. The one-eyed dragon was furious. 10,000 Gravity City had spent a huge sum of money to hire him for the sake of killing Ningyu. Originally, he thought that Ningyu was very strong, but from the looks of it, his strength was very weak, only at Xiantian realm consummation. And most importantly, arrogant, even more arrogant than him. With a leap, the one-eyed dragon directly jumped onto the 7th death arena. With a flick of his sleeve, a storage bag appeared in his hand. Chapter 200. Defeating a martial artist at the peak of the late stage of the true martial realm is worth 1,000,000 high-grade spiritual crystals. Currently, Ningyu only had over 20,000 pieces of high-grade essence crystals on him. The 1,000,000 pieces of high-grade essence crystals in the one-eyed man's hands was definitely a timely help to him. As long as he could get 1,000,000 high-grade spiritual crystals, you could try to break through the Cyclone Division. Once the Cyclone Division was successful, His strength would increase by leaps and bounds. Ningyu! Grabbing Ningyu's arm, Lu Wei looked worried. Don't worry. It'll be fine. Ningyu patted Lu Wei's shoulder and gave her a reassuring smile. With a leap, he jumped onto the 7th deathmatch arena. Swoosh! On the deathmatch arena, the one-eyed dragon didn't expect Ningyu to be so daring and actually dare to come up. Immediately, his expression was somewhat gloomy. If you want high-grade origin crystals, we'll have to see if you have the ability. Speak. As soon as he spoke, the one-eyed man stomped on the ground and his body turned into a blur. In an instant, he arrived in front of Ningyu. Whoosh! Then, the one-eyed man used his iron-like palm to attack Ningyu's head. Netherworld Samsara Palm. Facing the one-eyed man's powerful attack, Ningyu's lips curled up. He stood still and did nothing. Die! As his palm approached Ningyu, a sinister look appeared in the one-eyed man's eyes. It was as if he could see Ningyu being killed. Buzz! In the blink of an eye, the one-eyed man was only 3 centimeters away from Ningyu's head. Just then, Ningyu raised his eyebrows. The spiritual qi in his body gushed out and gathered on his palm. Go! As he shouted, a powerful spiritual qi surged out of his palm. Not good. Feeling the powerful spiritual qi on Ningyu's palm, the one-eyed man's face changed. He did not dare to delay and immediately retreated. Pucci! However, the speed at which he retreated was obviously slower by half a beat. Ningyu's palm had already arrived in front of him, and then it collided with his palm unavoidably. The enormous force that came from his palm caused One-Eyed Dragon to suddenly spit out a mouthful of dark red blood, and his face became extremely pale. After defeating the One-Eyed Man in a single move, Ningyu's figure flashed, and in the blink of an eye he appeared before the One-Eyed Man. Hand over your storage pouch, and I can consider sparing your life. Damn it, you're actually this strong. One-Eyed Dragon had never expected Ningyu to have such a strong performance. From the battle between Ningyu and Sun Song just now, One-Eyed Dragon judged that Ningyu's strength wouldn't be too strong. Now it seemed that Ningyu had held back at that time. Blunder, truly a blunder. One-Eyed Dragon's face was ashen. Although he did not want to hand over the storage pouch to Ningyu, he had no choice but to lower his head under the eaves. He could only flick his sleeve and throw the storage pouch to Ningyu. Swoosh! After receiving the storage pouch, Ningyu checked the number of high-grade spiritual crystals in it, and then threw the storage pouch into his storage ring. Pa! 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 Just as Ningyu put the storage pouch into his storage ring, a few sounds of clapping rang out, and then a huge fat man walked out from the last deathmatch stage with narrowed eyes. This huge fat man came to Ningyu's side, clapped his hands, and said with a smile, as expected of Ningyu, "You're really strong. You defeated a martial artist ranked 4th on the deathmatch list with a single move." Looking at the fat man in front of him, Ningyu frowned slightly and asked doubtfully, "You know me?" He, Ningyu, ranked 90th on the innate combat list. With a faint smile, the fat man said, "You killed a martial artist in the true martial realm when you were only at the middle stage of the innate realm. In Tianxian City. Who doesn't know of your powerful performance?" Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that the fat man was a higher up of the deathmatch arena, or else he would not know his identity. Deacon Pang. Beside him, Gofei's face was a little ugly, and he said in a deep voice, "Let go of my father and sister." "It's not impossible to let go of your father and sister." Deacon Pang shook his bucket-like body and said indifferently, "But you should know that in order to save people from the deathmatch arena, you have to fight 2 deathmatches and win." Swoosh! Swoosh! Just as Deacon Pang finished his words, 2 figures suddenly appeared. One landed on the 8th deathmatch stage, and the other landed on the 9th deathmatch stage. Swift Dragon Wu Lei, Whirlwind Kick Hong Tai. Looking at the 2 martial artists on the deathmatch stage, Gofei's face turned ashen, and he could not help but clench his fists. As someone who had been in the deathmatch arena for a long time, Wu Lei and Whirlwind Kick Hong Tai were no strangers. This was because the two of them would appear on the deathmatch stage every once in a while, and they would fight with martial artists from all over the world. Wu Lei and Hong Tai's cultivation was not too high, and they were both in the late stage of the true martial realm. However, they were extremely powerful, and they had even defeated martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm. Some people guessed that if the two of them were to challenge the deathmatch list, there was a high possibility that they would be ranked in the top 3. Gritting his teeth, Gufei said, "I will fight with them." Waving his hand, Deacon Pang said, "You are not their match, and you will die if you go up. How about this? Let Ningyu go up and fight with them. What do you think, little friend Ningyu?" Deacon Pang turned around and asked Ningyu, "What if I say no?" Ningyu said calmly, Not answering Ningyu's question directly, Deacon Pang's eyes narrowed even more. Immediately, the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness burst out and suppressed Ningyu, the aura of the peak of the true martial realm. With his eyes slightly narrowed, Ningyu directly mobilized the Yuan Qi in the 6 cyclones, attached them to his palm, and casually threw them out. Qi. The Yuan Qi in each cyclone of Ningyu was equivalent to that of a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Now that the 4 of them moved together, they directly blocked Deacon Pang's aura. Deacon Pang, a simple fight is a bit monotonous. Why don't we add some stakes? After blocking Deacon Pang's aura, Ningyu said. Deacon Pang was a little shocked that Ningyu could block his aura, but that was all. After all, he did not reveal all of his aura. In his opinion, if he revealed all of his aura, Ningyu would not be able to gain any advantage. Rolling his eyes, Deacon Pang said, "Of course there's a stake. As long as you can defeat Wu Lei and Hong Tai, I can give you 2 million upper-grade yuan crystals, but..." Speaking until here, Deacon Pang paused for a moment and then said, "If you fail, I don't want your upper-grade yuan crystals, just your head." Whoosh! Hearing this, Gufei and Lu Wei's expressions changed, and their eyes were filled with shock. His head? Didn't that mean that if Ningyu lost, he would lose his life? It seems that my head is quite valuable. 2 million upper-grade yuan crystals is not a loss. Chapter 201. Good. Straightforward indeed. Supervisor Pang's lips curled into a sinister smile. With a flick of his sleeve, a storage pouch appeared in his hand. Waving the storage pouch in his hand, Supervisor Pang said, "There are 2 million high-grade origin crystals in here. Every time you win, you will receive 1 million high-grade origin crystals. If you lose, you must leave your head behind." Of course. Leaving behind these words, Ningyu's figure flashed and appeared on the 8th deathmatch arena. Swift Dragon Wu Lei. At this moment, Wu Lei stood on the 8th deathmatch arena with one hand behind his back. "Xiantian, full cycle cultivation. I admire your courage." Wu Lei said calmly, "Do you know that there are already 999 Xiantian realm cultivators who have died by my hands? You should be honored to be the 1,000th. There are also many true martial realm cultivators who have died by my hands." Ningyu shrugged non-committally. Confidence is always a good thing, but sometimes overconfidence turns into arrogance. With a smile, Wu Lei said, "Don't think that I'm trash like the one-eyed dragon. I can kill him with a single hand." Schwa. In the next moment, before Wu Lei finished speaking, Ningyu rose from the ground. His body turned into an afterimage and strangely appeared in front of Wu Lei. Voila! Origin Qi gushed out from Wu Lei's consciousness and gathered on his fist. Then, Ningyu's fist gradually expanded in Wu Lei's eyes. Finally, under Wu Lei's horrified gaze, Ningyu's fist hit his chest. Bang! Puchi! The enormous force transmitted from his chest caused Wu Lei's expression to change drastically. His body directly retreated to the edge of the deathmatch arena before he could stabilize his body. Phew! Luckily, I didn't get knocked out of the deathmatch arena. After stabilizing his body, Wu Lei let out a long sigh. His face was filled with viciousness. Sneak attack. Ning Yu had launched a sneak attack right in front of him. What an uncle could tolerate, but the aunt couldn't. Ning Yu, you've completely angered him. Not good. However, just as Wu Lei was about to say something harsh, his pupils shrank because he realized that Ning Yu had already arrived before him with a flying sword in his hand. Noisy. Ning Yu thrusted his sword at Wu Lei's neck as he shouted in a low voice. Thump! At such a close distance. Even if Wu Lei used his full strength to block, he would not be able to withstand it. At the critical moment, his figure flashed and he quickly retreated. However, he was originally at the edge of the deathmatch arena. Now that he took a step back, he fell off the deathmatch arena. Swoosh! Seeing Wu Lei fall off the deathmatch arena, Ning Yu sheathed the Absolute Soul Sword and said indifferently, "Why are you talking so much nonsense in a deathmatch? I really don't know why more than 900 Xiantian realm martial artists died at your hands." Pucci. Hearing Ning Yu's sarcastic words, Wu Lei, who had just stood up, spat out a mouthful of blood. Shrugging, Ning Yu leaped off the deathmatch arena and came to Attendant Pang's side. He extended his hand and said, "Thank you for the 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals." Damn it! Cursing inwardly, Attendant Pang said, "When you defeat Hong Tai, I will naturally hand over the 2,000,000 high-grade origin crystals to you." "I prefer to settle it on the spot," Ning Yu said indifferently. The dignified Attendant Pang of the deathmatch arena. "Don't tell me you can't even take out 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals." Humph. 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals is child's play to me. With a cold snort, Attendant Pang took out another storage pouch from his sleeve and tossed it to Ning Yu. "There are 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals in there. You can count them." Catching the storage pouch, Ning Yu probed it with his soul force and checked it. He then nodded and said with a smile, "Attendant Pang is indeed rich and overbearing. To be able to take out 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals so casually." "Don't be too happy, there's still one more match," Attendant Pang said coldly. In Attendant Pang's view, Ning Yu defeated Wu Lei purely by luck, taking advantage of Wu Lei's carelessness to throw him off the deathmatch arena. In terms of raw strength, Ning Yu was not Wu Lei's match. Compared to Wu Lei, Whirlwind Kick Hong Tai's strength was much stronger. As long as Hong Tai did not make any low-level mistakes, Ning Yu would definitely be killed on the deathmatch arena. Ning Yu didn't waste his breath and leaped up onto the arena once more. "Gufei, how confident do you think Ning Yu is in defeating Hong Tai?" Although Ning Yu defeated Wu Lei, Lu Wei was still very worried in her heart because Ning Yu won by scheming. 50%. Taking a deep breath, Gufei said, "Hong Tai is very strong. It is said that Hong Tai killed 2 peak of true martial realm martial artists by himself." Hiss. Hearing Gufei's words, Lu Wei took a deep breath, and the worry on her face deepened. Killing 2 peak of true martial realm martial artists by himself. Such strength was enough to be ranked in the top 10 of the innate realm ranking. Hee 50%? You think too highly of Ning Yu. Attendant Pang smiled, and with a disdainful look he said, "To tell you the truth, when he killed the 2 peak of true martial realm martial artists, Hong Tai's cultivation was at the late stage of true martial realm. But now, speaking of this," Attendant Pang's lips curled up and he said, "he has advanced to the peak of true martial realm." Boom! At the same time on the deathmatch arena, Ning Yu's fist and Hong Tai's right leg fiercely collided, and the huge force caused both sides to retreat a few steps before they could stabilize their bodies. However, Ning Yu retreated 5 steps, and Hong Tai only retreated 3 steps. No wonder it is called Whirlwind Kick. His leg technique is really good. Rubbing his fist, Ningyu moved his mind, and the soul-breaking sword appeared in his hand. Through the previous exchange, Ningyu judged that Hong Tai had reached the peak of true martial realm. Although Ningyu could compete with Hong Tai purely by relying on the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness, Ningyu did not want to expose his trump card too much. If he could use his sword to deal with them, there was no need to fight them head-on. Swish! In the next moment, the Yuan Qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness wrapped around the soul-breaking sword, and with a slash, a shocking sword wave was formed. Teisho Kenpo! With a low shout, the shocking sword wave spun in the air and immediately rushed towards Hong Tai like a madman. Whirlwind kick! Hong Tai's eyes narrowed, and his right leg kicked the ground, and his body flew into the air. As his legs continued to vibrate, rays of cold light formed, and he faced Teisho Kenpo. Chi, 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 chi. The sword wave and the cold light collided, and a sizzling sound could be heard. Very soon, the sword wave and the cold light dissipated in the air above the deathmatch arena. Seeing this, Ningyu's face turned serious. Gritting his teeth, he once again sent out several shocking sword waves. Swoosh! 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 9 shocking sword waves formed on the deathmatch arena, and they were arranged into a sword wave formation, with 3 at the front, 3 in the middle, and 3 at the back. The power of these sword waves is so terrifying. Chapter 202. Facing Ningyu's 9 sword waves, Hong Tai's expression turned serious because he could feel the extremely violent Yuan Qi fluctuation from the sword waves. Taking a deep breath, Hong Tai gathered the Yuan Qi on his right leg and kicked out repeatedly. Divine whirlwind kick! As Hong Tai's shout fell, several whirlwind kick shadows appeared and attacked the sword waves in the air. Chi, chi, chi! The first 3 sword waves collided with Hong Tai's whirlwind kick shadow, producing a chi, chi sound before disappearing into nothingness. The 3 sword waves in the middle tore apart Hong Tai's defense almost instantly. Then they followed the last 3 sword waves and rushed towards Hong Tai. Oh no! Seeing this, Hong Tai's expression changed drastically, and he chose to retreat. However, Hong Tai's speed was obviously not as fast as the sword waves. Before he could retreat to the edge of the deathmatch arena, the sword waves had caught up. 6 sword ripples surrounded Hong Tai from 6 directions. After the sword waves surrounded Hong Tai, Ningyu frowned and thought for a second. A second later, Ningyu's eyes turned cold and the Absolute Soul Sword left his hand. Pooh! The Absolute Soul Sword was extremely fast, so fast that Hong Tai didn't have time to react. Then, taking advantage of his unpreparedness, it stabbed into his chest. However, Ningyu slightly controlled the direction of the Absolute Soul Sword so that it didn't stab into Hong Tai's heart. Even so, the huge pain from his chest still made Hong Tai feel a little dizzy. Whoosh! The sudden change caused everyone's mouth and eyes to widen. They couldn't speak for a long time. Especially Deacon Pang, he was the most shocked and could be said to be completely dumbfounded. The 2 experts that he was proud of, Wu Lei and Hong Tai, were both defeated by Ningyu. Moreover, it seemed like Ningyu's true strength had not been tested. Swoosh! On the deathmatch arena, Ningyu pulled the Absolute Soul Sword out of Hong Tai's body and said to Deacon Pang, 1 million upper-grade Yuan crystals, thank you. Damn it! Although he was furious, Attendant Pang had no other choice. With a flick of his wrist, he tossed the storage bag to Ningyu. There are 2 million high-grade essence crystals here. After receiving the storage bag, Ningyu threw the storage bag containing 1 million Yuan crystals to Deacon Pang. Now that we've fought, can we bring Gufei's father and sister back? Ningyu frowned. Wait, there's still one last battle. Deacon Pang moved his fat body slowly toward the 10th deathmatch arena. Ningyu was puzzled by Deacon Pang's actions. Could it be that Deacon Pang wants to fight me personally? At this thought, Ning, you couldn't help but take a few more glances at Deacon Pang. Although Deacon Pang's cultivation was at the peak of the true martial realm, his strength could not be considered strong, probably far inferior to Hong Tai. If he were to fight with him, he would definitely lose. Pah! Just as Ningyu was pondering, Deacon Pang clasped his fingers together and snapped them. Then, a young man in his 20s appeared on the 10th deathmatch ring in a flash. Early stage of the true martial realm. Ningyu's eyes narrowed as he sensed the powerful aura emanating from the young man on the deathmatch arena. Ningyu was not shocked because the young man was at the early stage of the true martial realm, but because he smelled a familiar aura from the young man. This aura was exactly the same as the aura from Zhang Hu in Ivory City. This is Li Xingyun. As long as you can defeat him, you can take Gufei's father and sister away. Deacon Pang pointed at the young man on the deathmatch arena. Ningyu? Why is this name so familiar? On the deathmatch arena, Li Xingyun frowned, trying to recall something. After a while, a smile appeared on Li Xingyun's face. He opened his mouth, and a voice entered Ningyu's ears. I remember now. The left protector suffered a loss at your hands. No wonder it feels so familiar to me. Ningyu's expression changed slightly. He also sent a soul message to Li Xingyun and asked, May I know your ranking in the Ghost Palace of the Corpse Sect? Oh, I didn't expect you to know about the Ghost Palace. Li Xingyun raised his eyebrows and said, I came out to do something important. But since I met you, you are unlucky. You will die here. You want to take my life? Ningyu said without batting an eyelid. Aren't you afraid that I'll reveal your identity and make it public? Ha ha ha, you are too naive. I am the third young master of the deathmatch arena. Li Xingyun laughed loudly. Then he rose from the ground and rushed towards Ningyu. Without thinking too much, Ningyu's figure flashed, and he jumped onto the 9th deathmatch arena. Because Gufei's father and sister were on the 10th deathmatch arena, Ningyu naturally would not fight with Li Xingyun there. Bang! On the 9th deathmatch arena, Ningyu and Li Xingyun's energy surged and they fought fiercely. The third young master of the deathmatch arena. He is the mysterious third young master of the deathmatch arena. Gufei's face was filled with fear when he heard Li Xingyun's words. Even his voice was trembling. It's over. It's over this time. It's really over. Gufei, who is the third young master of the deathmatch arena. Lu Wei asked. The deathmatch arena has a total of 10 deacons. They are in charge of all matters in the deathmatch arena. Gufei took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. He said in a deep voice, Above the deacons are the 10 young masters. The 10 great young masters are very strong. Almost every one of them is as strong as Whirlwind Kick Hong Tai. The most mysterious one is the third young master. His strength is unfathomable. Rumor has it that the third young master is ranked in the top 3,000 of the true martial arts battle list. The list of true force. Lu Xuan's face was dark and livid. The true martial arts battle list was different from the innate realm battle list. Basically, every country could publish their own innate realm battle list. However, there was only one true martial arts battle list. It was published by the most powerful empire of the Black Moon continent, the Autumn Wind Nation. The warriors on the true martial arts battle list were all very strong. Although Hong Tai was at the peak of the true martial realm, he was not even ranked in the top 5,000 of the true martial arts battle list. However, the third young master, Li Xingyun, was ranked in the top 3,000 of the true martial arts battle list. From this, it could be seen that Li Xingyun was very strong. The third young master represents the strongest of the younger generation in the deathmatch arena. Deacon Pang smiled and said, In the last true martial arts battle list, the third young master was ranked 2,800. 2,800! Hearing this, Lu Wei and Gufei both took a deep breath. Bean-sized beads of sweat appeared on their foreheads. The strength of a warrior ranked 2800 on the true martial arts battle list was extremely terrifying. Ning Yu's cultivation was only at the peak of the innate realm. It was basically impossible for him to win against Li Xingyun. Something is wrong. Suddenly, Gufei's eyes turned cold. He pointed at the 9th deathmatch arena and said, "Ning Yu and Li Xingyun are tied." What? Deacon Pang's face changed. He quickly looked at the 9th deathmatch arena. Chapter 203. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Deacon Pang shook his head. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. In his opinion, Li Xingyun was ranked in the top 3,000 of the true martial arts ranking, while Ning Yu was ranked 90th on the innate martial arts ranking. The gap between them was huge. How could Ning Yu be Li Xingyun's opponent? Third young master must be letting him win. Yes, he must be letting Ning Yu win. Deacon Pang clenched his fists and said in a low voice, "Bang!" On the deathmatch arena, Ning Yu and Li Xingyun's palms collided, and then both retreated a few steps. Looking at the skinny man in front of him, Li Xingyun's face was completely gloomy. He was the 7th peerless genius of the corpse sect, but he couldn't even kill a Xiantian full realm warrior? If this news spread, how could he stand in the ghost sect? So, no matter what, Ning Yu must die today. Very well. You have successfully angered me. Taking a deep breath, Li Xingyun said to Ning Yu, "Since I reached the true martial realm, you are the first person who has angered me. In order to repay you, I have decided to kill you." The moment the word kill fell, Li Xingyun rose from the ground and rushed straight towards Ning Yu. Swish! The moment his body rushed out, Li Xingyun waved his sleeve and a red, flying sword shot out. It arrived in front of Ning Yu before Li Xingyun. Heaven-level middle-grade flying sword. Ning Yu's soul force had already reached the late stage of grade 4. So the moment Li Xingyun took out the red flying sword, he found out the rank of the red flying sword. Heaven-level middle-grade flying sword. Although the heaven-level middle-grade flying sword couldn't display its full power in the hands of ordinary true martial realm warriors, it could display 80% of its power in the hands of Li Xingyun. Soul-breaking sword. Ning Yu's mind moved, and the soul-breaking sword flew out of his hand and collided with Li Xingyun's red flying sword. Ding! A crisp sound rang out as the absolute soul sword swayed in the air. If it wasn't for Ning Yu's soul power wrapping around the broken soul sword, it would have already fallen into Li Xingyun's hands. Exalted 9 Purities Sword Art. 4th form, 9 Purities Sword Ripple. The vital qi in his sea of consciousness frantically rushed out, and in an instant, all of it drilled into the absolute soul sword. As Ning Yu waved his wrist, a sword wave as thick as a waist emerged from the soul-breaking sword and rushed towards Li Xingyun. Red-patterned sword light. Facing Ning Yu's shocking sword wave, Li Xingyun was not worried at all. He waved the red flying sword, and a blood-red sword light that was not inferior to the 9 clarity sword wave was launched. Chi-chi. The blood-red sword gleam was so fast that it even created a sizzling sound from the friction with the air. Pa-pa-pa-pa-pa. Seeing that the blood-red sword light was about to collide with the 9 Purities sword wave, Ning Yu activated his soul force. Immediately, the 9 Purities sword wave split into 9 and exploded. What? The explosion of the 9 Purities sword wave was obviously not within Li Xingyun's expectation. He was at a loss for a second. It's not good to be distracted now. Naturally, Ning Yu would not let go of such a good opportunity. A phantom armor appeared around his body, and his soul force wrapped around his wrist. Netherworld Samsara Palm. 4th form, dominating Underworld. In the next moment, Ning Yu pushed out his palm, and an almost tangible palm print swept towards Li Xingyun at an astonishing speed. After all, Li Xingyun was a peerless genius of the Genius Hall. After being stunned for a moment, he gathered the vital chi in his sea of consciousness on his palm and pushed out a tangible palm print. Crack! The two palm prints collided with each other. There was only a slight cracking sound, and then they disappeared completely. Whoosh! Whoosh! After that, Ningyu and Li Xingyun both rose from the ground and raised their right hands. Their palms collided again. However, it was a palm print last time, and it was a real collision this time. After the collision, Ningyu and Li Xingyun took a few steps back at the same time. What Li Xingyun did not know was that the moment his palm and Ningyu's palm separated, a cold soul force quietly entered his palm and hid in his body. Ningyu, your overall strength should be close to that of a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. By now, Li Xingyun had completely given up on looking down on Ningyu, and regarded Ningyu as a martial artist of the same level as him. Li Xingyun knew that with his current strength, it would be very difficult to defeat Ningyu. Unless he used his trump card, it would be impossible for him to defeat Ningyu. This time, Li Xingyun had important matters to attend to in Wu Tuo City. Naturally, he would not waste his trump card that could only be used once. Li Xingyun rolled his eyes and said in a low voice, "Why don't we stop sparring today? We can spar again when we're free. I don't mind. I wonder if Deacon Peng has any objections." Ningyu shrugged and said calmly. Ningyu did not have absolute confidence in defeating Li Xingyun, so it was best to stop now. He could preserve his strength and not expose too many of his trump cards. After all, Ningyu still had the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, which was an absolute trump card. Once he used the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, combined with Ningyu's powerful fighting strength and the soul force of Ningyu in Li Xingyun's body, Li Xingyun would definitely lose. Ha ha! Deacon Peng definitely has no objections. Li Xingyun smiled and regained his calmness. He turned around and said to Deacon Peng, "No, no objections." Deacon Peng was a little flustered as Li Xingyun stared at him. He quickly said, "Let's stop sparring today. Since that's the case, can we take them away now?" Ningyu pointed at the two figures on the 10th arena and asked. "Yes, of course," Deacon Peng said. Hearing this, Ningyu winked at Gu Fei. Gu Fei walked onto the arena and untied the ropes that bound his father and sister. Then, Ningyu and the others strode out of the arena. After Ningyu and the others left, Deacon Peng said carefully, "Third young master, why did you let them go? Ningyu is ranked 10th on the Zhang family's wanted list. If you can kill him, humph, do I need you to tell me what to do?" Before Deacon Peng finished speaking, Li Xingyun snorted coldly and said gloomily, "What happened in the arena today, you better keep it to yourself. Otherwise, you know the consequences." Whoosh! In the next moment, Li Xingyun's figure flashed and disappeared instantly. Damn it! Not long after Li Xingyun disappeared, Deacon Peng clenched his fists and revealed a vicious look in his eyes. "No matter what, Ningyu must die. Third young master is not the only warrior on the true martial arts battle list in Wu Tuo City." At the same time, in an inn in Wu Tuo City, bang! A room was kicked open and two warriors rushed in with flying swords in their hands. They didn't care about the consequences and directly slashed the bedding on the bed. "No, he's not here." Suddenly, one of the warriors in the late stage of innate realm pulled the quilt away and said coldly, "I didn't expect that Lu Wei had already moved when in a way." The other warrior in the peak stage of innate realm said, "What should we do now?" The warrior in the late stage of innate realm said, "Should we tell shopkeeper Wan?" The situation has changed. The most important thing now is to find Wenin. The warrior in the peak stage of innate realm said in a deep voice. The warrior in the peak stage of innate realm knew very well that Wenin was a thorn in Wan Zhongqing's side. If Wan Zhongqing knew that they failed to kill Wenin this time, it would be disadvantageous to them. Chapter 204. Gufei's House. Looking at the unconscious old man on the bed, Ningyu frowned. The situation is not looking good. His soul power has been severely damaged. If it is not treated in time, the consequences will be unimaginable. After coming out of the death arena, Ningyu and the others arrived at Gufei's house. Actually, on the way, Ningyu found that Gufei's father was not simple. The yuan qi in his body was vigorous, but it was all accumulated in his knowledge, si. After a brief examination, Ningyu concluded that Gufei's father's soul power had been damaged, causing him to be unable to clear the yuan qi in his knowledge, si. I know father's situation. I am trying to earn yuan crystals to buy the soul-repairing pill. How could Gufei not know of his father's situation? For the past 3 months, he'd always been fighting in the underground death arena for the sake of earning 1 million high-grade essence crystals as soon as possible to purchase the soul repair pill. The soul-repairing pill is a 6th-grade pill. It cannot cure your father. Ningyu frowned. I know. Gufei's face showed a lonely expression. The soul-repairing pill can slow down my father's injury and let him live for another year. In this year, I will think of a way. Cough, cough. At this moment, the old man on the bed coughed and woke up from his coma. Fair, you guys leave first. I have something to say to this young friend. The old man's tone was unquestionable. Hearing this, Gufei was stunned. He did not think much and left the room. After thinking for a while, Lu Wei also left the room. Ningyu, my young friend, I think you must be curious why I became like this. After Gufei and the others left the room, the old man on the bed said, 3 months ago, I, Gelong, and a few friends went to the Mio forest and saw something we should not have seen. That was when my injury started. Taking a deep breath, Gelong slowly said, 3 months ago, Gelong, who was at the peak of the true martial realm, and 5 friends took a mission to the Mio forest to find a 7th-grade herb, the Mio flower. Fortunately, they found the Mio flower. But unfortunately, they saw a scene that they should not have seen. They were surrounded by several martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm. After a great battle, in the end, only he was able to escape Mio forest and return to Crow Gaiden City. Initially, Gelong thought that he had escaped this calamity, but that night, he discovered that something was wrong. Whenever he tried to use his soul force, his yuan qi would flow in reverse, and his sea of consciousness would become chaotic. Gelong refused to believe it and insisted on using his soul force to check. In the end, not only was he unable to find out where the problem was, he instead caused his entire body to be paralyzed, becoming a cripple. Secret flower. As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Yu's expression turned grave. The secluded secret flower was indeed a 7th-grade herb. Ordinary people might not know about it, but Ning Yu was very clear that the secluded secret flower was the main ingredient in refining the Nether Spirit Pill. The Nether Spirit Pill was a rank 7 pill that was secretly developed by the Corpse sect. If an ordinary martial artist swallowed a spectral spirit pill, regrettably, they would become a spectral corpse. Ghost corpses were the same as dark gold spirit corpses. Only the upper echelons of the Corpse-Een sect had access to them. Compared to dark gold spirit corpses, ghost corpses were of a higher level because they had their own consciousness, and their battle was no different from a normal martial artist. In the secluded, secret forest, we saw a large number of martial artists. The lowest cultivation of those martial artists was at the peak of the true martial realm. There were even many half-step origin core realm, and even some origin core realm martial artists. Gelong continued, those martial artists had wooden expressions, as if they were being controlled. That's right. Around those wooden martial artists, we also found for young Xiantian realm martial artists. Although they were Xiantian realm martial artists, I could feel that their battle strength was comparable to mine. They could even kill me effortlessly. For Xiantian realm martial artists. Ning Yu muttered with a frown. A moment later, Ning Yu raised his eyebrows and thought of a possibility. Those 4 Xiantian realm martial artists were all peerless geniuses of the Corpse-Een sect's Ghost Kai Palace. Li Xingyun was from the Corpse In Sec's Ghost Kai Palace, and young Master Luo was also from the Corpse In Sec's Ghost Kai Palace. From this, it could be seen that those 4 Xiantian realm martial artists were peerless geniuses of the Corpse In Sec's Ghost Kai Palace. Swoosh! Just as Ningyu was thinking about whether he should explore the secluded, secret forest or not, a shadow cut through the void and steadily landed in front of him. Black Dog! The sudden appearance of the shadow caused Gelong to be slightly startled. His eyes revealed a shocked expression. This was because the black dog in front of him was standing on its hind legs and holding a red flying sword in its hand. "You're the black dog. Your whole family is—" Hearing Gelong's words, the Dark Emperor waved the red flying sword in his hand. Just as he was about to scold Gelong, he seemed to have noticed something and shrugged his shoulders. "Forget it. I won't lower myself to the level of a person whose soul has been seriously injured and is about to die." Gelong was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect a black dog to speak. "Dark Emperor, where did you 2 go?" Rolling his eyes, Ningyu was speechless. "2? Isn't there only 1? Gelong was dumbfounded once again. There was clearly only 1 black dog. Why did Ningyu say there were 2? Swoosh! At this moment, the Dark Emperor casually flung the red flying sword in his hand out. Then, under Gelong's shocked gaze, the red flying sword shook and turned into a man in red clothes. "Black Dog, how dare you do this to me?" The Red Devil was extremely angry. It could be said that he was extremely angry. Ever since he gained sentience, he had never been held by a black dog. He really couldn't tolerate it. "Red skin, so what if I do this to you? Do you still want to fight me?" The Dark Emperor raised his noble head and said disdainfully, "If it wasn't for Ningyu, I would have cut you into pieces." Stop. Stop arguing. Ningyu said, "Answer my question." "Humph. I won't lower myself to your level." With a cold snort, the Red Devil turned into a shadow and attached himself to the broken soul sword. The Dark Emperor jumped onto a chair and said, "Don't ask so much first. Are you interested in doing something big with me?" "Tell me." Ningyu said. "The red skin, and I didn't disappear for no reason. We went to a red forest." The Dark Emperor crossed his front legs and said, "In that forest we met people from the Corpse Sect." "What do you think those people from the Corpse Sect are doing?" The Dark Emperor said mysteriously. "They should be secretly refining the ghost pill to turn people into ghost corpses." Ningyu said, "Whoosh!" The Dark Emperor jumped up and looked at Ningyu in disbelief. "How did you know? Could it be that you secretly followed me?" "Don't make a fuss." Waving his hand, Ningyu pointed at Gelong and said, "This is what Uncle Ge told me. He also said that there are a lot of slow cultivators there." "All right, since you know, I don't need to explain too much to you." Chapter 205. Absolutely not. Before Ningyu could speak, Gelong, who was on the bed, turned pale with fright. He quickly said, "The Corpse Sect is incomparably savage. You must not go." In the great Xia Kingdom, any martial artist who heard the words Corpse Sect would be shocked, and Gelong was no exception. Now that he heard that Ningyu wanted to go to the Miao Forest to hunt the Corpse Sect, Gelong quickly advised, "There are at least a few Yuan Dan realm martial artists in the Miao Forest. If you go rashly, you will only die." Ignoring Gelong's words, the Dark Emperor continued, "I have already investigated. There are only 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists and 4 Xiantian perfection realm martial artists in the Miao Forest. The rest are nothing to be afraid of. How many more specter corpses are there?" Ningyu frowned. Ningyu wasn't afraid of the half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists, but he was worried about the specter corpses. If there were a lot of half-step Yuan Dan realm specter corpses in the Miao Forest, then why would he go? He would just be courting death. "I didn't pay attention to that." The Dark Emperor was a little impatient and said, "You don't have to worry. There are only 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. I can deal with one, and Redskin can deal with the other. As for the remaining 4 Sciention Perfection realm martial artists, you will deal with them. Damn, Dark Emperor, you sure have your wishful thinking. Ning Yu was speechless. He didn't believe that the Dark Emperor didn't know the strength of the 4 Sciention Perfection realm martial artists. They were the geniuses of the Corpse Sex Ghost Talent Palace. Let him fight against 4 by himself? At least before advancing to the true martial realm, it would be very difficult, and there was basically no possibility of winning. If the 4 Sciention Perfection realm martial artists were existences like Li Xingyun, then he would have to plan carefully. This matter must be considered at length. We must not be rash. After thinking about it, Ning Yu said in a deep voice, "How about this? We will go to the Mio Forest 3 days later." Ning Yu had won 3 million pieces of high-grade essence crystals from the deathmatch arena, so he naturally had to cultivate properly and strive to split a few more cyclones. Right now, Ning Yu could contend with a half-step origin core realm martial artist. If the Qi whirlpool split into 15, he could even easily kill a half-step origin core realm martial artist. Don't talk nonsense. The cucumber will be cold in 3 days. The Dark Emperor said, "Can you do it or not? Give me an answer. If it doesn't work, I'll go over with Redskin." Black lines appeared on Ning Yu's face. He gritted his teeth and said, "Fine, who said I can't? It's not impossible if you want to go, but you have to promise me that you'll listen to me when we reach the Mio Forest." All right. I'll listen to you. It's no big deal. Shrugging his shoulders, the Dark Emperor said, "Then prepare yourself. We will set off immediately." As soon as he finished speaking, the Dark Emperor turned into a shadow and entered the storage ring. After the Dark Emperor disappeared, Galong revealed a worried expression and said, "Little friend Ning Yu, you must not go to the Mio Forest. The people of the Corpse Insect are extremely cunning. I suspect there must be origin core realm martial artists hiding in the area. Uncle Ge, I know what to do." Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu said, "It's no longer safe here. Go to the Alchemy Union with Gu Fei and the others for a few days. I will think of a way to treat your injuries." With that, Ning Yu left the room. Outside the room, seeing Ning Yu come out, Gu Fei hurriedly asked, "Young Master Ning, how is my father?" Not answering Gu Fei's question directly, Ning Yu asked, "How many high-grade essence crystals do you have now?" 900,000. Gu Fei was startled. Swish! With a flick of his sleeve, a storage bag appeared in his hand. Ning Yu said, "There are 100,000 high-grade essence crystals inside. Take it to buy a soul repair pill. Then take your father to the Alchemy Union to find Grandmaster Tong. Tell him I told you to go." "Many thanks." Gu Fei knew that great kindness cannot be expressed with words. He silently remembered Ning Yu's kindness in his heart. "Ning Yu, where are you going?" Beside him, Lu Wei asked doubtfully. "All right, you go with them to the Alchemy Union and take care of Uncle Wen." Looking at Lu Wei, Ning Yu said, "I have something to do. It might take 2 to 3 days. You won't go to the Mio Forest to investigate the 10,000 layer city, right?" Lu Wei was not stupid. Back at the inn, she already knew that Ning Yu wanted to go to the Mio Forest. Now, from Ning Yu's expression, he most likely sent her away to go to the Mio Forest. However, Lu Wei only knew that there was a 10,000 layer city in the Mio Forest. She didn't know that there were experts from the Corpse sect there. If she knew that there were experts from the Corpse sect in the Mio Forest, she would definitely not let Ning Yu go. "It's okay, you don't have to worry." Ning Yu smiled warmly at Lu Wei. "I'll go with you." Lu Wei's tone was very firm. No. Ning Yu quickly waved his hand. What a joke! Lu Wei's cultivation was only at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. Letting her go with him was clearly causing trouble. Rolling his eyes, Ning Yu said, "You stay here to take care of Uncle Wen and then return to the capital. Your parents are now in danger. You should accompany them." Parents. Lu Wei's eyes were a bit gloomy. She gritted her teeth and said, "Okay, I'll wait for you in Wu Ta City for 3 days. 3 days later, I'll go to the capital." "That's right, don't worry about me," Ning Yu said, because he was worried about the safety of Lu Wei and the others. Ning Yu escorted them to the Alchemy Union. After leaving the Alchemy Union, Ning Yu did not rush to the Mio Forest. Instead, he circled around Wu Ta City a few times to get rid of the cultivators following him. After getting rid of the cultivators following him, Ning Yu took a shortcut and left Wu Ta City. Shua. After leaving Wu Ta City, Ning Yu's mind moved and the phantom armor appeared on the surface of his skin. His speed skyrocketed and he disappeared in the blink of an eye. Kacha! After flying at full speed for 2 hours, Ning Yu stopped when he heard the sound of a tree branch snapping. He concealed his aura and leaped onto a towering tree. Shua! Ning Yu had just leaped onto the tree when the Dark Emperor flew out from his storage ring. "What's going on?" After coming out, the Dark Emperor asked with a frown. Ning Yu placed a finger by his mouth and then pointed to the ground in front of him. The Dark Emperor followed Ning Yu's finger and looked over. Sensing the powerful aura emanating from the 2 young cultivators in the distance, the Dark Emperor's eyes became solemn, because the aura of the 2 young cultivators was on par with Ning Yu. However, the 2 cultivators did not seem to get along. Their anger was a little strange. "Luo Ping, looks like you're full of confidence for the next Ghost Talent Hall assessment." A perfected Khanate realm cultivator who was closer to Ning Yu said. The cultivator called Luo Ping smirked and said gloomily, "Qi Jiang, you're ranked 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall, and I'm ranked 6th. You're not my match." "Hee, whether I'm your match or not, we'll only know after we fight." Qi Jiang laughed. Li Xingyun, on the giant tree. After seeing Qi Jiang's true appearance, Ning Yu's face darkened. Chapter 206. Both of them are from the Corpse Sect. The Dark Emperor's face was solemn as he whispered, "Ning Yu, do you want to kill him?" "Don't act rashly. I've fought with Qi Jiang before. He's not any weaker than me," Ning Yu said. Swish! At this moment, Hong Mo appeared in the form of a small red sword. "There are only 2 of them, but there are 3 of us. What's there to be afraid of?" The moment Hong Mo said the word afraid, his body swayed for a moment before he suddenly dashed out. Damn it! Hong Mo's action caused Ning Yu's expression to change greatly. He cursed in his heart as he stepped on the tree trunk and dashed out. Teisho Kenpo! He waved the soul-breaking sword and several sword waves formed in the air. "Qi Jiang, don't talk so much nonsense. Let's fight." "Not good." On the wide ground, Luo Ping was just about to make a move when his expression changed drastically. This was because he saw a red flying sword rushing towards him with a whistling gust of wind. As a genius of the Corpse Sect's Ghost Talent Palace, Luo Ping had killed many martial artists. However, when he felt the killing intent from the red flying sword, he was shocked, because the killing intent from the red flying sword was several times stronger than his own. At this critical moment, Luo Ping took out his flying sword and faced the red flying sword. Ding! A crisp sound was heard. The huge force on his wrist was so strong that Luo Ping had to retreat several feet before he could get rid of it. Whoosh! In the next moment, Hong Mo transformed into a man wearing a red shirt. Red Rune Sword Ray. Qi Jiang's eyes narrowed as he waved his flying sword. Several sword rays formed and collided with Ning Yu's Teisho Kenpo. Qi! Qi! After the collision, both sword rays and sword waves disappeared. Ning Yu. Seeing the familiar figure before him, Qi Jiang was first taken aback. Then he smiled and said, "I have to say you are really bold. I failed to kill you last time, but you won't be so lucky this time." "Qi Jiang, you know them?" Luo Ping leaned towards Qi Jiang after forcing Hong Mo back. "Yes, of course I do. The corners of Qi Jiang's mouth rose as he said, "This is Ning Yu." Ning Yu? The one who made the left guardian suffer a loss? Luo Ping frowned. Nodding his head, Qi Jiang looked at the Hong Mo beside Ning Yu and said to Luo Ping, "How about one each?" "No problem," Luo Ping said. "One each? Are you guys blind?" The moment Luo Ping's voice fell, the Dark Emperor flew down from the giant tree and landed beside Ning Yu. Standing on his hind legs, the Dark Emperor said disdainfully, "Open your dog eyes wide and look, there are 3 of us." "Ha ha ha, 3 of us?" Laughing, Luo Ping's face darkened. "You call yourself human? You are at most a dog. Die." The Dark Emperor was most infuriated by others treating him like a dog. This was his weakness and also his reverse scale. Woof! Barking, wings appeared behind the Dark Emperor's back as he charged towards Luo Ping with a powerful aura. Not good. The Emperor of the Sky Devouring Hound clan. Purple Gold Sky Devouring Hound. Seeing the purple wings behind the Dark Emperor and the dense aura he emitted, Luo Ping's expression changed drastically. Without hesitation, he ran for his life. Luo Ping was not stupid. Although he was not afraid of the Dark Emperor, there was still the man in red next to him. From the exchange of blows with the man in red, Luo Ping could tell that the man in red was very strong, not weaker than him. If the Dark Emperor and the man in red joined hands, he would be in danger. Luo Ping was gambling. He was gambling that the man in red would not chase after him and would stay to deal with Qi Jiang. "Hong Mo, go help the Dark Emperor." Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu said. Luo Ping was ranked 6th in the Ghost Talent Palace. He should be slightly stronger than Qi Jiang. Ning Yu was afraid that something might happen to the Dark Emperor, so he sent Hong Mo to help the Dark Emperor. "Be careful." Hong Mo's figure flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. "Ning Yu, you are very arrogant." Holding the red patterned sword, Qi Jiang sneered. "If you and the man in red attacked me together, you might be able to injure me, but now—" Qi Jiang paused for a moment at this point, and then he said, "I'll let you know why flowers are so red." "Hee hee. Do you think that I'm the only one here?" Ning Yu chuckled. Voila! Ning Yu used his soul power, and a giant, dark, golden corpse flew out from the storage ring and landed in front of Ning Yu. Dark, golden spirit corpse. Seeing the dark, golden spirit corpse next to Ning Yu, Qi Jiang's pupils shrank. He couldn't help but take a few steps back and shouted, "Why do you have the corpse sex dark, golden spirit corpse?" "Noisy. Dead. People don't need to know so much." With a roar, Ning Yu stabbed out with the soul-breaking sword. Supreme 9 Pure Sword Technique, 9 Pure Sword Wave. Once he attacked, it was a killing move. A giant sword wave separated from the soul-breaking sword. Pa-pa! Pa-pa! Then 9 muffled sounds came out, and the sword wave split into 9, surrounding Qi Jiang. "Last time, this move of yours didn't do anything to me, and this time it will have no effect," Qi Jiang said gloomily. "Is that so?" The corner of Ning Yu's mouth rose as the energy in his sea of consciousness surged. The energy in the 8 cyclones wrapped around the soul-breaking sword, and he swung it again and again. Whoosh! 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 Under Qi Jiang's shocked gaze, 8 giant sword waves formed, and each split into 9 sword waves. 72 sword waves, combined with the previous 9 sword waves, had a total of 81 sword waves surrounding Qi Jiang. "How can there be so much energy in your body?" Clenching his fists, Qi Jiang was shocked. Like him, Ning Yu only had the cultivation of Xiantian full cycle. Logically speaking, it was impossible for him to have so much energy in his sea of consciousness. There are a total of 6 cyclones in my sea of consciousness, and the density of the energy. Could it be? Suddenly, Qi Jiang seemed to have thought of something. His mouth opened slightly, and he pointed at Ning Yu and said, You've already split the cyclones into 10. Netherworld Samsara Palm, 4th style, Dark Tyrant. Ning Yu did not answer Qi Jiang's question. Instead, he wrapped his soul force around his palm and performed the Netherworld Samsara Palm. Qi Jiang's strength was strong, and Ning Yu did not dare to be careless. Hit the snake where it hurts and kill without mercy. This was Ning Yu's code of conduct. Since he had decided to kill Qi Jiang, he could not have the slightest hesitation. For a ghost talent palace genius like Qi Jiang, as long as he seized the opportunity, it would be very difficult to kill him. Wang Wang. Dark Tyrant Palm was the 4th style of the Netherworld Samsara Palm. Combined with all of Ning Yu's soul force, it brought along gusts of strong wind the moment it was performed. Even the void trembled slightly. Ning Yu, I admit that I have underestimated you. Facing Ning Yu's continuous powerful attacks, Qi Jiang calmed down and was very calm. Chapter 207. I have to say, you talk a lot of nonsense. As for the trump card that Qi Jiang mentioned, Ning Yu did not care at all. He only knew that he had to kill Qi Jiang now. Don't let him escape. Therefore, the dark gold spirit corpse stood guard at the side and didn't make a move. As long as Qi Jiang wanted to escape, the dark gold spirit corpse would immediately attack him. Let's see if you can still be so stubborn later. With a cold snort, Qi Jiang waved his sleeve, causing the space before him to distort. Shortly after, a small vortex appeared, with strands of gas constantly gushing out from it. Death Soul Vortex. When he saw the small whirlpool in front of Qi Jiang, Ning Yu's pupils shrank and he could not help but clench his fists. You actually know about the Death Spirit Vortex. You're not simple. Raising his eyebrows slightly, Qi Jiang smiled and said, being able to die in the Death Soul Vortex can be considered a kind of enjoyment for you. The Death Spirit Whirlpool was extremely difficult to cultivate. It could be said that not even 1 in 100 corpse sect cultivators could successfully cultivate it, because the undead spirit vortex needed to be fed. If one wanted to display the greatest power of the undead spirit vortex, they had to feed it with corpse yin qi. When the corpse yin qi reached a certain level, the death spirit vortex would spew out death spirit qi. Dead spirit qi was a gas that was even more corrosive than corpse yin qi. In order to successfully cultivate the death spirit whirlpool, one must possess a vast amount of corpse yin qi. In order to maintain their strength, the people of the corpse yin sect would not waste their corpse yin qi to cultivate the death soul whirlpool. Therefore, very few people could cultivate the death soul whirlpool to the same level as Qi Jiang. Whoosh! With a flick of his wrist, a gourd appeared in his hand, and Qi Jiang said, Wu Ta City, Lord has a cultivation at the origin core realm. In order to deal with him, I prepared an entire gourd of corpse yin qi, and now it has benefited you. Qi Jiang's gaze turned ice cold. He abruptly opened the gourd, and streams of qi flowed out, entering the death spirit vortex. Very quickly, the undead spirit vortex expanded once again as a violent aura rippled out in all directions. Xiu! At the same time, Qi Jiang sent a wisp of his soul force into the undead soul vortex so that he could control it more easily. Dead spirit qi. In the next moment, Qi Jiang mobilized his soul power, and a few strands of necromancy qi shot out from the necromancy vortex, blasting towards the 9 clarity sword wave that surrounded him. Qi. The death spirit qi was extremely corrosive. The moment the 9 clarity sword wave made contact with it, it was corroded and turned into nothingness. Giant dead spirit qi. As Qi Jiang growled, an arm-thick death spirit qi emerged from the vortex. Qi. The Netherworld Tyrant Palm was a palm technique that attacked the soul. It was extremely powerful. However, when the nether dominating palm print came into contact with the enormous dead spirit qi, It dissipated in the heavens and the earth, just like the 9 clarity sword ripple. From the moment the necromancy vortex appeared to the moment the 9 purities sword wave and underworld dominating palm dissipated. Only 3 seconds had passed. In just 3 seconds, Qi had reversed the situation and gained the upper hand. Ningyu, although I don't know how you obtained this dark gold spirit corpse, I should thank you because this dark gold spirit corpse now belongs to me. As his voice fell, Qi dragged his hands upwards and lifted the necromancy vortex up. Then he flew towards the dark gold spirit corpse. The dark gold spirit corpse had the strength of a half-step Yuan Dan stage, so Qi naturally wouldn't let it go. He could only use the necromancy vortex once. If he could obtain a half-step Yuan Dan stage dark gold spirit corpse, he would at least be able to enter the top 5 in the next Ghost Talent Hall test. Seeing Qi fly towards the dark gold spirit corpse, not only was Ningyu not worried, the corner of his mouth curled up, revealing a smile. I'll let you be cocky for now. There will be a time for you to cry later. Advanced grade 4 soul force quietly appeared around his body as Ningyu said indifferently, "Roar." The order the dark gold spirit corpse received was to stop Qi. Therefore, when Qi attacked it, the dark gold spirit corpse roared loudly and suddenly enlarged. "Where do you think you're going?" A low and powerful voice came from the dark gold spirit corpse's mouth. Then it raised its fist and smashed it towards Qi head. This punch of the dark gold spirit corpse was heavy and had basically used all its strength. Even if a half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artist was hit by the fist, he would also suffer heavy injuries. As for Qi, if he was hit by the dark gold spirit corpse's iron fist, he would definitely be smashed into meat paste. Dead spirit energy. Qi eyes turned cold as the necromancy vortex floated above the dark gold spirit corpse's head. After that, numerous strands of dead spirit energy were emitted and burrowed into the dark gold spirit corpse's head. Seeing the dead spirit energy about to enter the dark gold spirit corpse's head, Qi laughed sinisterly. "Ningyu, I'll kindly accept this dark gold spirit corpse of yours." "I never said that I would give the dark gold spirit corpse to you. Will you kindly accept it?" As the voice fell, the soul force around Ningyu's body turned into numerous strands and flew into the air. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Subsequently, the strands of soul force merged into 6 strands and formed a formation. After the formation was formed, Ningyu forced out a drop of blood essence and dripped it on one of the strands of soul force. Buzz, buzz! The moment the blood essence and soul force came into contact, a buzzing sound erupted. Subsequently, the 6 strands of soul force became silent. Ha ha ha! So it's just an embroidered pillow, pleasing to the eye, but not. What? Pucci! Seeing that the formation in the air was silent, Qi laughed loudly. Just as he was about to ridicule, his expression changed drastically. With a Pucci sound, a mouthful of fresh blood spurted out. Wiping the fresh blood from the corner of his mouth, Qi said in a deep voice, "Ningyu, what did you do to me?" Just now, he suddenly felt an intense pain coming from his chest. That pain came from his bone marrow, from the depths of his soul. "Hee, I didn't do anything to you just now." Smiling, Ningyu changed the topic and said, "Actually, when we were in the death arena, I already left a strand of soul force in your body." What? Qi expression changed drastically. He hurriedly recalled the soul force back into his body, wanting to search for the strand of soul force that Ningyu left behind. Unfortunately, after searching for a full 3 minutes, Qi couldn't find a single strand of soul force. "Qi, thank you for your 3 minutes." While Qi was searching for the soul force, Ningyu's hands began to form a seal. 3 minutes later, Ningyu slowly withdrew his hands. "Go." Pointing his finger, the 6 strands of soul force suddenly merged into one and attacked Qi-Jiang's head. Death Spirit Vortex. At this critical moment, Qi-Jiang clenched his teeth and tried his best to use all the Death Spirit Qi in the Death Spirit Vortex. Puchi. However, before the Death Spirit Qi in the Death Spirit Vortex could rush out, Qi-Jiang once again coughed out a mouthful of blood and his breathing became chaotic. Your soul force is in my sea of consciousness. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Qi-Jiang finally discovered the location of Ningyu's soul force. It was in his sea of consciousness. To be more precise, Ningyu's soul force was attached to one of his cyclones. 6 cyclones. I didn't expect you to have already split your cyclones into 6. You are indeed worthy of being the genius of the Corpse Sex Ghost Talent Palace. Feeling that there were 6 cyclones in Qi-Jiang's sea of knowledge, Ningyu was a bit surprised, but that was all. After all, he had already split his cyclones into 13. Compared to him, Qi-Jiang's cyclone differentiation paled in comparison. Ningyu, you want to destroy my cyclones. In an instant, Qi-Jiang seemed to understand that Ningyu attached his soul force to his cyclones. He clearly wanted to destroy them. Chapter 208. Qi-Jiang, don't you think it's a little late for you to find out now? With a sneer, Ningyu rose from the ground with the soul-breaking sword in his hand. Swoosh! The phantom armor appeared and Ningyu pushed his speed to the limit, arriving beside Qi-Jiang in the blink of an eye. What followed Ningyu to Qi-Jiang's side was his powerful soul force. It's not that easy to destroy my Qi whirlpool. Since he had found the location of Ningyu's remaining soul force in his body, Qi-Jiang no longer hesitated and hurriedly mobilized the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness to encircle Ningyu's soul force. Bang! However, before Qi-Jiang could mobilize the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness, his expression changed drastically. This was because he realized that one of the Qi whirlpools in his sea of consciousness had already been destroyed by Ningyu. Bang, bang, bang. Immediately after, 3 muffled sounds could be heard. Another 3 Qi whirlpools were destroyed by Ningyu. Without the death whirlpool, the current Yu is no longer my opponent. Just as Qi-Jiang was frantically protecting the Qi whirlpools, Ningyu's powerful soul force had already arrived beside him and suddenly entered his sea of consciousness under his horrified gaze. Qi! The soul-breaking sword followed closely behind and stabbed into Qi-Jiang's chest. Puchi! The sudden change caused Qi-Jiang to be a little dumbfounded. Lowering his head to look at the soul-breaking sword in his chest, Qi-Jiang opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something. However, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and his breathing became a little weak. Bang! At the same time, Ningyu's soul force entered Qi-Jiang's sea of consciousness and once again destroyed one of Qi-Jiang's Qi whirlpools. By now, 5 of the 6 Qi whirlpools in Qi-Jiang's sea of consciousness had already been destroyed, leaving only 1 intact whirlpool. With 5 Qi whirlpools destroyed, Qi-Jiang's strength had dropped by at least 80%. The current him could not pose the slightest threat to Ningyu. It's a pity to kill him now. With a swoosh, Ningyu pulled out the soul-breaking sword from Qi-Jiang's body and fell into deep thought. Qi-Jiang had already lost the ability to fight, so killing him would be as easy as blowing off dust. However, Ningyu felt that it was necessary to keep Qi-Jiang here when he thought about entering the Miao forest later. If he could control Qi-Jiang, it would be of great help to sneak into the Miao forest. Ningyu, even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. However, just as Ningyu was deep in thought, he heard a loud voice. Ningyu's heart skipped a beat, and he quickly raised his head to look. Qi-Jiang's expression was ferocious, and his entire body began to swell up. Not good. Qi-Jiang's transformation caused Ningyu's expression to change greatly. He hurriedly summoned the phantom armor and retreated far away. Self-destruct. In Qi Jiang's current state, it was obvious that he wanted to self-detonate. Even if Ningyu's strength was valiant, he didn't dare to resist the self-detonation of a consummate Xiantian martial artist. Besides, Qi Jiang was different from ordinary Xiantian great perfection martial artists. His self-detonation was at least equivalent to the self-detonation of a middle-stage, true martial realm martial artist. Damn it! Soul power, come back! Cursing under his breath, Ningyu quickly withdrew the soul power from Qi Jiang's sea of consciousness. In order to deal with Qi Jiang, Ningyu had used up almost all of his soul power. If he was at the center of Qi Jiang's self-detonation, Ningyu didn't dare to imagine that his soul power would at least be severely damaged, and it was very likely that he would be completely wiped out. Die. Just as Ningyu withdrew half of his soul power, Qi Jiang smirked and slapped his head with his palm. Rumble. In the next moment, a deafening explosion was heard. Whoosh! Then, a terrifyingly powerful shockwave spread out in all directions with Qi Jiang at the center. Teisho Kenpo! At the critical moment, Ningyu quickly waved the soul-breaking sword and slashed out several sword waves. Chi-chi! Several sword waves blocked in front of Ningyu, shielding Ningyu from the powerful impact of Qi Jiang's self-detonation. Puchi! Even so, Ningyu still lost half of his soul power. The taste of blood in his throat caused Ningyu to spit out a mouthful of blood, his face extremely ugly. He had suffered a double loss. Not only had he failed to control Qi Jiang, but he had also lost half of his soul force. The trip to the Mio Forest has to be put on hold. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu's face turned solemn. Losing half of his soul power meant that his battle power would drop by at least 30%. After all, he could no longer display his full strength with the netherworld Samsara Palm. Ningyu was very clear that with his current battle power, he could only compete with a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm. Before his soul power recovered to its peak, if he met a martial artist at the half-step Yuandan realm, there was no way he could survive. The damage to one's soul force wasn't something that could be recovered in a day. Unless Ningyu had some heaven-defying elixirs, he would need at least half a month to recover his soul power to its peak. Rustle. At this moment, two rustling sounds could be heard as two figures flew over from afar. What's going on? The two figures were none other than the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil. When they saw the mess around them, they were slightly stunned before asking, "Where's Qi Jiang?" "I killed him," Ningyu said. "You killed him? Didn't you say that you and Qi Jiang were evenly matched? Why did you kill him so quickly?" The Dark Emperor was a little confused. After all, Ningyu had once said that his and Qi Jiang's strength were evenly matched. Don't ask too much about this. Is Luo Ping dead too? Ningyu clearly did not want to talk about Qi Jiang. At the mention of Luo Ping, the Dark Emperor was instantly enraged. That kid is very strong. If it wasn't for the help of the red skin, I wouldn't have been able to kill him. Swoosh! The Dark Emperor then opened his mouth and spat out a golden egg. What's this? After receiving the golden egg, Ningyu slightly spread out his soul power, wanting to examine the true appearance of the golden egg. However, no matter how hard he tried, his soul force could not penetrate the egg surface. I don't know what it is either. I chewed a few times, but it didn't break, so I brought it back. The Dark Emperor shrugged and said, "That's not important. What's important is that the red skin and I found a treasure on Luo Ping." Treasure? Ningyu was startled. Luo Ping was ranked 6th in the Ghost Talent Hall. He might really have a treasure. The Dark Emperor reached out and searched under his belly. A moment later, he took out a jade bottle. Inside the jade bottle, there was a dark green elixir. Spiritual pill. Ningyu's eyes widened when he saw the jade bottle. He knew that the pill inside the bottle was a 7th grade spiritual pill. The spiritual pill. Spiritual pill? What rank is it? I want to keep it for myself. The Dark Emperor frowned. Gasp! Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu sucked in a breath of cold air. His figure flashed, and he quickly snatched the jade bottle. Luckily, the Dark Emperor did not swallow the spiritual pill. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. You've saved your life for nothing. Ningyu waved the jade bottle in his hand and said, The spiritual pill is a unique pill developed by the corpse sect. If a normal person swallows it, they will turn into a spiritual corpse. Chapter 209. Holy shit! Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor's eyes widened and he jumped up. The dark green pill in the bottle was actually another spirit pill, and its medicinal effect was so terrifying. It was just as Ningyu had said. If he consumed it, the consequences would be unimaginable. The people of the corpse sect all have bad intentions. They're trying to harm me even after they're dead. The Dark Emperor's expression was ugly, as if he had been tricked. I'll take this pill. Who knows? I might need it in the future. With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu put the nether spirit pill into his spatial ring and said, Let's recuperate here for a while before heading to the Mio Forest. Recuperate here? Hearing Ningyu's words, Hong Emo was stunned. Then he said doubtfully, I don't think there's a need for that. We should head to the Mio Forest immediately. That's right. The people of the corpse sect are sinister and cunning. We should head there as soon as possible and kill their mother. The Dark Emperor was furious, so he naturally didn't want to stay to recuperate. Right now, he just wanted to head to the Mio Forest as soon as possible and capture all the people of the corpse sect. Compared to the Dark Emperor, Hong Mo's eyes were much sharper. After carefully observing Ningyu, Hong Emo said, Ningyu, are you injured? Injured? What's there to be injured now? What? Ningyu is injured. The Dark Emperor was very unhappy after being tricked by Luo Ping. He really wanted to go to the Mio Forest to take revenge. However, Hong Mo's words made him confused, so he quickly released his perception. When he noticed that Ningyu's soul force wasn't at its peak state, his face abruptly turned gloomy, and he said, I was wondering how you were able to annihilate Qi Jiang, who was evenly matched with you. So it turns out that you paid a heavy price. Your soul force is in a weak state. You must be treated in time. Hong Emo said after pondering for a moment. Since Hong Emo and the others already knew, Ningyu didn't plan to hide it. He sighed. Sigh, I also want to be treated in time, but I don't have any pills to recover my soul force. Hong Mo's face was gloomy. He seemed to have made a big decision. He said in a deep voice, Take out that semicircular pendant. There's pure soul energy inside. It can help you recover your soul energy to its peak. Raising his brow, Ningyu looked at the red devil and took out the pendant with a thought. Ever since the red devil came out of the pendant, Ningyu hadn't observed it and left it in his storage ring. After Hong Mo's body, he didn't want to find it and didn't. Ning 99 red 6 master. Ning 9 S is used sword with 6. Back then, half of Master Lung's soul force was absorbed by the pendant and the other half by the soul-severing sword. Ning, you refine the soul-severing sword's pure soul force, but the pendant should still have the soul-severing sword's pure soul force. This pendant has a total of 4 layers. Hong Emo closed his eyes as if he was recalling something. A moment later, he opened his eyes and said, My spirit body is suppressed by the hexagram array in the first layer. The pure soul power absorbed by the pendant is stored in the second layer. You can devour the soul power in the second layer and use it to heal your soul injuries. The third layer is where the 7 stars array is. It's also where my body is trapped. As for the 4th layer, I don't know what's inside. The Dark Emperor was an impatient person. He quickly said, Ningyu, what are you waiting for? Hong Mo and I will protect you. Hurry up and absorb the soul force in the pendant. The Dark Emperor flew to the other side and released his senses to probe the surroundings. Glancing at Ningyu, Hong Mo's figure flashed, and he came to the Dark Emperor's side. After the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo left, Ningyu looked at the blue pendant in his hand and fell into deep thought. He didn't know if he should believe Hong Mo's words. After all, Hong Mo's body was in the pendant. He might release Hong Mo's body. Hong Mo was already so strong in his spirit body state. If he was to fuse with his body, his strength would increase by at least several times. Moreover, in the past, when Ning Yu's soul force came into contact with the pendant, it would devour his soul force. Could it be that the pendant had lost this function? Swoosh! Ning Yu knew that it wasn't good to worry too much. Therefore, he immediately separated a portion of his soul force and quietly approached the pendant. 1. When this portion of soul force approached the pendant, it wasn't devoured like before. Instead, it slowly entered the pendant. It's just like what Hong Mo said. His spirit body is trapped in the first layer. As his soul force continued to enter, Ningyu realized that the pendant had a total of 4 layers. He didn't stay in the first layer for too long. Ningyu controlled his soul force to enter the second layer. Chi. As soon as his soul force entered the second layer, Ningyu opened his eyes in disbelief. There was a huge amount of pure soul force in the second layer. The amount of pure soul force. Ningyu even realized that the amount of pure soul force in the second layer was much more than the soul force he had absorbed from Master Lung. In other words, the pendant had also absorbed strong soul force in the past. Let's do it! Gritting his teeth, Ningyu separated a few more portions of soul force into the pendant and began to absorb the pure soul force. Swoosh! At the same time, the Dark Emperor was still mumbling to himself. It was obvious that he was still angry. You shouldn't have killed Luo Ping back then. You should have kept him and tortured him. Hong Mo rolled his eyes and said, You should have kept him and tortured him. It's not like you don't know the situation back then. If I didn't kill him, you would have lost your life long ago. Luo Ping was indeed very strong. He almost killed one of them, even though he was fighting 1 against 2. If it wasn't for Hong Mo taking the opportunity to sneak attack from the side, the Dark Emperor would have been crippled even if he didn't die. Hong Mo, when do you think Ningyu will recover his soul force to its peak? After mumbling a few more times, the Dark Emperor said, This is a very good opportunity. If we miss this opportunity, there won't be another one. Don't worry. With Ningyu's recovery ability and the huge amount of pure soul force in the pendant, Ningyu will be able to recover to his peak by nightfall. Hong Mo was obviously very confident in Ningyu. Well, it's really infuriating. No wonder it's called the Corpse Sex Ghost Talent Hall. Everyone inside is a ghost talent, a peerless genius. The Dark Emperor was a little depressed. With his cultivation at the peak of the true martial realm and the Emperor of the Heaven-Swallowing Dog clan, he couldn't even kill a small peak Xiantian martial artist. If this were to spread, he would probably lose all his face. Don't be discouraged. After all, your bloodline hasn't awakened yet. Seeing the Dark Emperor's depression, Hong Mo said, The purple gold heaven-swallowing dog is extremely powerful. My first master once encountered a purple gold heaven-swallowing dog that had awakened half of its bloodline. Just its aura alone could make a yin-yang realm martial artist tremble. Chapter 210. Sigh. Awakening the bloodline is easier said than done. With a sigh, the Dark Emperor said, There is only one way to awaken the bloodline in the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan. That is to head to the Heaven-Devouring Lake. The Heaven-Devouring Lake is already occupied by them. Awakening the bloodline is still a long way off. Don't be discouraged. With Ningyu's speed of growth, it won't be long before he has the ability to bring you to the Heaven-Devouring Lake. The Red Devil said. In fact, the Red Devil had a plan in mind. The energy contained in the Heaven-Devouring Lake was immense. Once he entered the Heaven-Devouring Lake, there was a high chance that he could break the 7-star array. That way, he would be able to free his main body trapped in the third layer of the pendant. Once his main body was freed, he would be able to fly freely in the sky and jump freely in the sea. Don't think too much now. Let's take a good rest. After all, we still have a tough battle ahead of us, the Dark Emperor said after sorting out his thoughts. There were 4 geniuses from the Ghost Talent Hall and 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists in the Mio Woods. This battle was indeed going to be a tough one. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 6 hours had passed and night fell. Phew! Sensing the strength of the soul energy in his body, Ningyu heaved a sigh of relief and stood up abruptly. Flicking his wrist, he kept the pendant in his storage ring. Ningyu's eyes were filled with surprise. Peak 4th grade. After 6 hours of absorption, not only did Ningyu recover his damaged soul power, but his soul power had also advanced to the peak of grade 4. Underworld dominating palm. With a thought, Ningyu wrapped his soul force around his palm and pushed it out. Chi-chi. A giant palm print appeared in the air and slammed into the void. The palm print was extremely fast. As it rubbed against the air, it even made a sizzling sound. Who is it? As soon as Ningyu executed the underworld dominating palm, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil's expressions changed drastically. They immediately flew towards Ningyu. Don't worry, I'm just testing its power. Ningyu blasted out another palm print, which collided with the first underworld dominating palm, and both of them dissipated between heaven and earth. Ningyu, your strength? It actually strengthened again. Seeing Ningyu's actions, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil were dumbfounded. This was because the power of the 2 palms that Ningyu had just unleashed was much stronger than before. At the very least, they didn't dare to take it head-on. Not long ago, the Dark Emperor had said that the people of the Ghost Talent Hall were freaks. Now it seemed that there was only one true freak, and that was Ningyu. Ningyu had only spent 6 hours to go from having his soul injured to having his strength greatly increased. Ningyu gloomily said, "It's a dark and windy night. Let's go and meet the people from the corpse sect." "Go. I can't wait." The Emperor of the Dark World was an impatient person. Without much hesitation, he immediately rose from the ground and rushed towards the mean forest. As for the Red Demon, his eyes narrowed and he followed behind the Dark Emperor. Whoosh! With a thought, the phantom armor appeared on his body. Ningyu's speed skyrocketed as he chased after the Dark Emperor. After flying for about an hour, Ningyu and the others stopped. Looking at the giant red trees in front of him, Ningyu murmured, "So this is the mean forest. This is the periphery of the mean forest. The people of the corpse sect are in the deepest part. Let's go in quickly." With that, the Dark Emperor's figure flashed, and he wanted to enter the mean forest. However, Ningyu placed his hand on the Dark Emperor's shoulder and said, "We can't go in like this. We should prepare before going in." At the entrance of the mean forest, Ningyu faintly smelled something unusual, causing him to secretly raise his guard. Luo Ping and Qi Jiang were the peerless geniuses, ranked 6th and 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall of the Corpse Sect. It had already been 6 to 8 hours since they were killed. Maybe the people of the Corpse Sect in the mean forest had already received the news. If they rashly entered the mean forest at this time, they might encounter an ambush. If there are too many people, it will be easy to expose the target. Ningyu said, "That's simple. I can enter the storage ring, and Red Skin can attach to the broken soul sword." The Dark Emperor smiled and said, "As for you, you need to prepare well." Ningyu was speechless, but this was also good. At least they wouldn't expose too much of their strength. "Okay, I will enter the mean forest myself. You guys wait for an opportunity," Ningyu said. Swish, swish. In the next moment, Red Demon turned into a shadow and attached to the broken soul sword. As for the Dark Emperor, he went back into the storage ring. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu slightly concealed his aura. From the outside, he looked no different from an early Xiantian realm martial artist. Releasing his soul perception, Ning Yu carefully walked towards the depths of the Mean Forest. Ning Yu walked very slowly. Every few steps he would stop to observe. Although he didn't encounter any danger along the way, the deeper he went into the Mean Forest, the bad feeling in Ning Yu's heart became stronger and stronger. Swoosh! Suddenly, Ning Yu's face changed. He quickly found a place to lie down and completely concealed his aura. Swoosh! 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 Not long after Ning Yu lay down, 6 wind-breaking sounds rang out. Then, 6 figures appeared not far in front of him. Looking at the figure at the front, Ning Yu was slightly startled because he had met him once. Qinghai. Back in the premium pavilion, Qinghai had struck up a conversation with Ning Yu. He said that he had something to ask Ning Yu for help. After the matter was completed, he would receive a reward of 1 million high-grade origin crystals. Why are they here? Originally, there were only 5 of them. Why are there 6 now? Although he was a little puzzled, Ning Yu didn't make a sound. Instead, he lay down on the ground and didn't move. Qinghai, where is the cave you mentioned? Next to Qinghai, an early true martial realm martial artist said impatiently, "We have walked for several hours. Why are we still not there?" "Haha, Wei Peng, don't worry." Smiling faintly, Qinghai said, "That cave is in the depths of the Mean Forest. As long as you help me lure away the rank for demonic beast in front of the cave, I will give you the crystals I promised you. I hope you keep your word. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite," Wei Peng said coldly. "How could we dare to play tricks on you? You are in the early stage of the true martial realm, while the 5 of us are in the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Even if the 5 of us were to fight you alone, it would still be impossible for us to win." Qinghai laughed and said, "Qinghai is a good schemer." In the distance, Ning Yu raised his eyebrows and thought to himself that Qinghai was indeed a good schemer. When they were in Wu Tua City, Qinghai and the other 4 martial artists were at the peak of Xiantian realm, but now they were only at the late stage of Xiantian realm. Obviously, they had deceived Wei Peng, who was at the early stage of true martial realm, and Wei Peng was completely unaware of it. "Let's hurry up and leave. Don't waste time here." Waving his hand, Wei Peng said impatiently, "Ha ha ha. Leave. Where do you want to go?" However, before Wei Peng and the rest could move, a loud laughter rang out. "Xiu! Xiu!" Chapter 211. Who? The sudden change caused Qinghai and the rest to have a drastic change in expression. Looking at the several figures standing in front of him, Qinghai shouted in a deep voice, "Who are you?" "Who I am is not important. What's important is—" At this point, the middle-aged man in the lead paused for a moment before continuing, "You will all die today." "Humph! Want to kill us? How can it be so easy?" With a cold snort, Qinghai and the rest revealed their Xiantian full cycle aura. "Qinghai, you are all Xiantian full cycle martial artists." Beside them, Wei Peng's face turned ugly when he felt the powerful aura from Qinghai and the rest. Since Wu Tua City, Wei Peng had always thought that Qinghai and the rest were late Xiantian full cycle martial artists. Now that he saw Qinghai and the rest were all Xiantian full cycle martial artists, he felt like he was being played. Wan Chongcheng. Qinghai and Wei Peng might not know who the middle-aged man was, but Ning Yu did. The middle-aged man was none other than the shopkeeper of Wu Tua City's Snow Domain Pavilion, Wan Chongcheng. Didn't Wanchong City invite the top 3 martial artists on the Death Arena list? Why isn't there even a single half-step Yuan Dan martial artist behind him? Ning Yu frowned, feeling somewhat puzzled. Although there were many martial artists around Wan Chongcheng, their cultivations were not very high. Most of them were in the middle stage of the true martial realm, and there were only a few in the late stage. Could it be that the top 3 martial artists on the Death Arena list were not here? Swoosh! Just when Ningyu was confused, a figure suddenly appeared beside Wei Peng and punched out. Bang! His iron-like fist brought with it a whistling gust of wind as it landed squarely on Wei Peng's chest. Poochie! Wei Peng coughed up a mouthful of blood as he felt a fishy taste in his throat. His body retreated several feet before he could stabilize himself. Courting death. Half-step Yuan Dan stage. Stabilizing his body, Wei Peng wanted to reprimand a few words, but his mouth opened and revealed an extremely terrified expression. He realized that the martial artist who attacked him just now had a cultivation of a horrifying half-step Yuan Dan stage. Wei Peng was well aware that he was only at the early stage of the true martial realm, facing a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Only death awaited him. "Who are you, and what do you want?" With a dark expression, Cheng Hai stepped forward and asked in a deep voice. Wan Chongqing did not reply to Cheng Hai. Instead, he looked at the half-step primal core cultivator who injured Wei Peng and said, "Leave one cultivator behind and kill the rest." Understood. The half-step Yuan Dan stage practitioner nodded his head before his figure flashed and charged towards Wei Peng. Bang! Wei Peng was only an early stage, true martial realm martial artist. Coupled with the heavy injuries he had just suffered, he was only able to withstand a single move before being killed by a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. After Wei Peng died, the half-step origin core realm martial artist changed his direction and rushed towards Cheng Hai and the rest. Split up and run. At the critical moment, Cheng Hai let out a low shout and rushed towards the outskirts of the Miao forest. If they stayed and fought head-on, Cheng Hai knew that they wouldn't be able to survive. If they split up, they might be able to escape. Puff! Puff! However, before Cheng Hai and the rest could run too far, another 2 half-step Yuan Dan stage practitioners appeared and killed 2 Xiantian full-circle cultivators. Shua! This sudden change caused Cheng Hai's heart to skip a beat and he hurriedly stopped. When the 2 half-step Yuan Dan stage practitioners appeared, Cheng Hai already knew that he couldn't escape. Since he couldn't escape, Cheng Hai decided not to. Instead, he stood on the spot and said in a deep voice, "Before I die, I want to know why you want to kill us." "You are very lucky to be the one to survive." The corner of Wan Chongqing's mouth curled up as he said, "Puff! Puff!" Not long after Wan Chongqing's words, the other 2 Xiantian full-circle cultivators who followed Cheng Hai were also killed. Now, of the 6 cultivators, only Cheng Hai was left. Those who survive should be rewarded. With a flick of his sleeve, a jade bottle appeared in Wan Chongqing's hand. "As long as you swallow this pill, I can guarantee your life." Opening the jade bottle, Wan Chongqing said, "What pill is this?" Cheng Hai asked. "Nether spirit pill." Cheng Hai didn't know what pill was inside the jade bottle, but Ningyu was very clear about it. The pill inside the jade bottle was dark green in color, and a gloomy aura was emitted from the bottle. Wan Chongqing actually has another spirit pill. Could he also be from the corpse sect? Ningyu frowned and murmured to himself. The nether spirit pill was a unique pill of the corpse sect. Normal people wouldn't even recognize it, let alone obtain it. If Ningyu didn't have the memories of his previous life, he definitely wouldn't be able to recognize the nether spirit pill. Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have discovered something and said in surprise, "This nether spirit pill is not a 7th grade pill, but a 5th grade pill." In Ningyu's knowledge, the nether spirit pill was a 7th grade pill. Could it be that the corpse sect had already developed a 5th grade nether spirit pill? If that was the case, then it was too scary. The 7th grade nether spirit pill couldn't be mass-produced, but the 5th grade nether spirit pill could be mass-produced. It could be imagined that if a large number of 5th grade nether spirit pills flowed into the Great Xia Kingdom, it would be a disaster for the Great Xia Kingdom. You don't need to know so much. Right now, you have 2 choices. Wan Chongqing was a bit impatient and said, "First, take the initiative to swallow this pill. Second, we will force you to swallow it. It seems that I have no other choice. Chen Hai gritted his teeth and took the nether spirit pill from Wan Chongqing's hand. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. Ah! Chen Hai had just swallowed the nether spirit pill when he let out a loud cry. Then he closed his eyes and fainted. What's going on? Could there be a problem with this pill? Seeing Chen Hai fainting, Wan Chongqing's brows furrowed and he muttered, "This doesn't make sense. When they gave me the pill, they told me that it was a newly developed 5th grade pill. There shouldn't be a problem." Buzz, buzz! 1 minute later, Chen Hai, who had fallen to the ground, suddenly stood up. His eyes flickered with a bit of light. However, the light in Chen Hai's eyes only lasted for 10 seconds before it dissipated. In exchange, his eyes became dim. It's done. Chen Hai's change did not disappoint Wan Chongqing. Instead, he was overjoyed. In the next moment, Wan Chongqing forced a drop of blood onto Chen Hai's skin. The blood flowed into Chen Hai's body and entered his brain. "Take 2 steps," Wan Chongqing said in a low voice. "Sha sha!" Just as Wan Chongqing's voice fell, Chen Hai moved 2 steps forward. I didn't expect a mere 5th grade pill to be so powerful that it can control a Xiantian full cycle martial artist. Wan Chongqing's face was filled with ecstasy as he laughed sinisterly. If I can get a 6th grade or even 7th grade nether spirit pill, it won't be difficult to control the Snow Domain Pavilion. Wan Chongqing's eyes narrowed into slits as if he could see the grand occasion when he became the pavilion master of the Snow Domain Pavilion. Chapter 212. 3 half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artists, and there's even a half-step Yuan Dan stage old demon hidden in the surroundings. Should I make a move or not? Seeing that Wan Zhongqing's group was about to leave, Ningyu clenched his fists and quickly thought of a countermeasure. The first 3 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists were still fine. They were much weaker than Luo Ping and Qi Jiang from the Corpse sect. The Dark Emperor and Hong Mo should be able to deal with them. As for the half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster, his strength was much stronger. He was infinitely close to the Yuan Dan realm. That old monster's strength was probably comparable to Qi Jiang's. I must make a move. Ning Yu's face darkened as he shouted. Although he knew that Wan Zhongqing's group was very strong, Ning Yu was clear that if he didn't make a move now, it would be too late when Wan Zhongqing's group joined forces with the Corpse sect. Shua! Thinking of this, Ning Yu's figure flashed and blocked Wan Zhongqing's path. Ning Yu? You didn't die in the death arena. The figure that suddenly appeared in front of him caused Wan Zhongqing to be slightly stunned. But when he saw that the person in front of him was Ningyu, he suddenly laughed heartily. After laughing, Wan Zhongqing gloomily said, "Enemies really meet on a narrow road. I haven't even gone to look for you, and you've already delivered yourself to my doorstep." Finished speaking, Wan Zhongqing's gaze swept left and right, trying to see if there were any hidden martial artists. "There's no need to look, I'm alone." Ningyu naturally knew what Wan Zhongqing was thinking, so he waved his hand and said, "I didn't expect you to collude with the Corpse sect. It was my mistake not to kill you last time." Wan Zhongqing's eyes narrowed as he said in a deep voice, "Nonsense! Anyone with a discerning eye can see that." Shrugging, Ningyu indifferently said, "The elixir Qinghai swallowed was not an ordinary elixir, it was the ghost elixir, a kind of elixir specially developed by the Corpse sect." Hiss! Hearing Ningyu's words, the few true martial realm martial artists beside Wan Chongqing revealed looks of horror. Although they didn't know what the nether spirit pill was, they knew about the Corpse sect and were afraid of the Corpse sect. Now that they heard that Wan Zhong City was colluding with the Corpsean sect, how could they not be shocked? Don't listen to his nonsense. Seeing that Wan Chongqing was having a hard time dealing with them, the half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster, who was hiding in the shadows, flashed and landed in the middle of the crowd. The half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster released his aura, pointed at Ningyu and shouted, "He is a member of the corpse sect!" Elder Shur, so you're here too. With Elder Shur here, we'll definitely be fine. Yes, Elder Shur is an elder of the Snow Domain Pavilion. Of course, we believe what he says. Seeing a half-step Yuan Dan realm old monster, the surrounding true martial realm martial artists instantly calmed down. Obviously, this Elder Shur's position in their hearts was very high, at least several levels higher than Wan Chongqing's. Brat, who the hell are you? Why are you spreading lies here? Elder Shur shouted at Ningyu. Whether I'm spreading lies or not, you should be very clear about this. Ningyu lightly said, "Those who are innocent are innocent. Those who are turbid are turbid." Narrowing his eyes, Elder Shur took a step forward and turned into a shadow as he rushed towards Ningyu. "What nonsense are you spouting? You're courting death. If Elder Shur makes a move, this brat will definitely be killed." That's right, he's just a Xiantian cultivator, while Elder Shur has already advanced to the half-step Yuan Dan realm. He's dead for sure. Hee Ningyu, this time you're still not dead. Wan Chongqing's lips curled into a sinister smile. Like the crowd, Ningyu was dead for sure. Although he didn't know why Ningyu didn't die in the death arena, from Wan Chongqing's point of view, Ningyu would definitely be killed by Elder Shur. After all, Elder Shur was a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. His strength was extremely strong, and he was infinitely close to the Yuan Dan realm. Elder Shur would have no problem dealing with two ordinary half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. However, the scene in front of him caused Wan Chongqing's mouth to widen in shock. Xiu! Xiu! Just as Elder Shur was about to reach Ningyu, two cold rays of light suddenly shot out from Ningyu's body, one on the left and one on the right, rushing towards Elder Shur. Furthermore, Ningyu also drew out a flying sword and attacked from the middle. Pung! 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 Elder Shur was indeed a peak half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Fighting 1 against 3, he only took a few steps back and did not suffer any serious injuries. After one attack, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil stood on either side of Ningyu. "Old fart, you're not weak." Rubbing his swollen wrist, Ningyu's expression was a little ugly. Through the hurried exchange just now, Ningyu could basically conclude that this Elder Shur was very strong, equivalent to half a Qi Jiang. If he hadn't trained his soul force to the peak of grade 4, he wouldn't even have the slightest chance of winning against Elder Shur. Dark Emperor, Red Devil, you two go deal with the other 3 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. I'll hold Elder Shur back. Clenching his fists, Ningyu said in a low voice. Be careful. The Dark Emperor and the Red Devil knew that after Ningyu's soul force reached the peak of grade 4, his strength had far surpassed theirs. Therefore, the heavy responsibility of holding Elder Shur back could only be accomplished by Ningyu. If it were any of them, they would probably die here. Their figures flashed, and the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil attacked the top 3 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists on the death arena list. Elder Shur, should we go to the depths of the Mio Forest to inform them? Wan Chongqing's face was a little gloomy as he asked Elder Shur. All right. After thinking for a while, Elder Shur said. After receiving Elder Shur's affirmative answer, Wan Chongqing and the other true martial realm martial artists rose from the ground and ran toward the depths of the Mio Forest. Not good. The reason why Ningyu chose to make a move now was mainly because he didn't want Wan Chongqing and the corpse sect to meet. If they joined forces, the consequences would be unimaginable. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. Using his soul force, Ningyu took out the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse from his storage ring. Furthermore, Ningyu stuffed a storage bag filled with 900,000 high-grade origin crystals into the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's head to support its attack. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. He's really from the corpse sect. Everyone run. This Dark Gold Spirit Corpse has the strength of a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. If we don't leave now, it'll be too late. Quickly escape and return to Wu Tuo City. Bang! The dark gold spirit corpse raised its right foot and suddenly stomped on the ground. Soon after, a deep and powerful voice slowly came from its mouth. Those who leave without permission die. The moment the word die fell, the dark gold spirit corpse's body emitted an extremely strong aura, which pressured the surrounding true martial realm martial artists to the point that they couldn't breathe. After taking a glance at the dark gold spirit corpse, Elder Shur withdrew his gaze and looked at Ningyu. I didn't expect you to have a treasure like the dark gold spirit corpse. It's really surprising. That's normal. Holding the soul-breaking sword in his hand, Ningyu took a step forward. The Yuan Qi in his sea of knowledge burst out as he lightly said, Next, I'll let you know that there are still many surprises to come. Chapter 213. I have a question for you. Ningyu did not take Elder Shur's mockery to heart. Instead, he said lightly, Do your parents know about your arrogance? You're courting death. Elder Shur's eyes turned cold as he jumped up from the ground. Violent Yuan Qi appeared on his palm as he slapped at Ningyu's cheek. Feeling the intense Yuan Qi on Elder Shur's palm, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat as an ominous premonition rose in his heart. Elder Shur's current condition was that he was only one step away from the Yuan Dan realm. In other words, if Elder Shur wanted to reach the Yuan Dan realm, he would have an 80% chance of success. If he had a true elemental Dan, he would have a 90% chance of successfully reaching the Yuan Dan realm. 9 pure sword wave. Facing an expert like Elder Shur, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. He immediately displayed his trump card, the 4th style of the supreme 9 pure sword art, 9 pure sword wave. Swoosh! 3 consecutive sword waves formed in the air and flew toward Elder Shur's palm. When the sword waves were about to reach Elder Shur, they suddenly exploded and split into 9, surrounding Elder Shur from different directions. I didn't expect a Xiantian Peak realm warrior to be so strong. This is beyond my expectations. Seeing the sword wave split into 9, Elder Shur's expression finally changed. However, it was only a slight change. He didn't panic at all. His palms quickly formed a seal in the air, and in a split second, a huge palm print was formed and collided with the 9 sword waves. Chi! Chi! The moment the sword waves and the palm print collided, a huge shockwave exploded and spread in all directions. Netherworld, Samsara palm, dominating underworld. In the blink of an eye, Ningyu wrapped his soul power around his palm and instantly displayed the dominating underworld palm. Because Ningyu's soul power had reached the peak of the 4th grade, the dominating underworld palm's power had increased tremendously, and its speed had also increased. Not good. After the attack, Elder Shur was about to say a few harsh words, but his sharp senses noticed that a solid palm print was coming toward him. Elder Shur had never expected such a turn of events. Ningyu's reaction speed was so terrifying. Phantom Golden Core. At this critical moment, Big Boss Shur opened his mouth and an egg-sized golden core appeared above his head. Whoosh! After the illusory golden core appeared, a powerful wave of essence chi radiated from it and blasted towards the underworld tyrant palm. Hua! The origin energy light wave was extremely powerful. The instant the netherworld overlord palm came into contact with it, it dissipated between heaven and earth. The soul force on it also disappeared. Damn it! Ningyu knew that the situation was not good when Elder Shur displayed his golden core shadow. Although his strength could contend with a half-step origin core realm martial artist, facing a powerful martial artist like Elder Shur, he was helpless. Corpse in sphere. In the next moment, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and a cold light shot out from it, flying towards Elder Shur's illusory golden core. The corpse-eaten sphere was something that Ningyu had obtained from Zhang Hu. Although it could only cause harm to a late-stage true martial realm martial artist, he did not care too much about it. Every second he could buy was a second. Facing the corpse-eaten sphere, the corner of Elder Shur's mouth curled up and he casually waved a ball of essence chi. As soon as the corpse-eaten sphere came into contact with the ball of essence chi, it exploded and a huge shockwave spread in all directions. However, this shockwave obviously did not pose the slightest threat to Elder Shur. Kid, let's end it here. Elder Shur obviously did not want to waste any more time here. With a thought, the illusory golden core in midair suddenly sped up and rushed towards Ningyu. Chi. The golden core was so fast that it even created a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the air. Ningyu's heart sank to the bottom when he saw the illusory golden core attacking him. Elder Shur's golden core shadow was much stronger than the left protector's. Ningyu did not have the confidence to block it. However, Ningyu would not sit still and wait for death. Come out. Ningyu gritted his teeth and the essence chi in his sea of consciousness roiled. Then, all the essence chi in the 12 cyclones poured out. After a huge amount of essence chi rushed out, it formed 12 protective nets in front of Ningyu. Crack, crack, crack. As soon as the 12 protective nets were formed, Elder Shur's golden core shadow arrived in front of Ningyu. 3 consecutive cracking sounds rang out and 3 essence chi protective nets were smashed. Crack, crack, crack. A second later, another 3 essence chi protective nets were smashed. Crack, 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 crack. Following that, a series of cracking sounds rang out. In a mere 3 seconds, 11 of the essence chi protective nets in front of Ningyu had been smashed. There was only 1 protective net left. If the last protective net was destroyed, Ningyu would have to face Elder Shur's golden core shadow directly. What should I do? At this moment, Ningyu calmed down. He rolled his eyes and thought of a solution. 1 second. Ningyu thought for 1 second. And it was this 1 second that completely changed his fate. Crack! A second later, the last protective net was smashed. The golden core shadow had already arrived in front of Ningyu. The golden core shadow emitted a strong wave of energy. Ningyu's face darkened. However, he stood his ground and closed his eyes, allowing the golden core shadow to hit his chest. Has he given up? Ningyu's action made Elder Shur frown. He was confused. Although puzzled, Elder Shur would not let go of such a good opportunity. He controlled the illusory golden core and instantly blasted it at Ningyu's chest. Just as the golden core shadow was about to hit Ningyu's chest, Ningyu's closed eyes suddenly opened and an evil smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. What's going on? Seeing Ningyu's evil smile, Elder Shur suddenly had a bad feeling. He wanted to withdraw the golden core shadow. However, before Elder Shur could withdraw the golden core shadow, he saw that Ningyu was holding a dark green pill in his right hand. He suddenly slapped it at his golden core shadow. Just as his palm was about to touch the golden core shadow, Ningyu used a little force and crushed the dark green pill. Yuan Qi wrapped around the powder and scattered it on the golden core shadow. Damn it! It's the spirit pill! The moment Elder Shur saw the powder, he realized that something was wrong. He cursed and quickly withdrew the golden core shadow. However, Ningyu's speed was extremely fast. Before Elder Shur could withdraw the golden core shadow, he had already inserted the powder into the golden core shadow. The 7th grade spirit pill was very attached. Although it was only a golden core shadow and not a real golden core shadow, the powder of the spirit pill was tightly attached to it. Kid, I'm going to cut you into 8 pieces. At this moment, Elder Shur was on the verge of anger. He knew that there were only 2 ways to solve the crisis of the spirit pill. First, he could slowly use Yuan Qi and soul force to force it out of the golden core. This was obviously not a good idea because it would take at least a month. Second, he could completely abandon this golden core shadow. Elder Shur was very clear that once he abandoned the golden core shadow, his strength would drop by at least 80%. He would be far from being Ning Yu's opponent. Chapter 214. You old fart, you're living in a dream. At this moment, Ning Yu regained his composure and said indifferently, "You should know that what's attached to your illusory golden core is the fragments of the specter pill, and it's the fragments of the 7th grade specter pill. Once you use your Yuan Qi, the spectral pill will do more harm to the golden core. In the end, it will completely take over your golden core. I don't think you need me to tell you about the effects of the spectral pill, right? Even without the illusory golden core, I can still tear you into pieces." With a cold expression, Elder Shur leaped up from the ground and charged at Ning Yu without any regard for his life. "Since you want to die, then don't blame me." If Elder Stone was still at his peak, Ning Yu would naturally be afraid. However, Elder Stone only had 20% of his strength left. If Ning Yu wanted to kill him, it would be a piece of cake. Divine, malevolent, sword wave. With the soul-breaking sword in hand, Ning Yu slashed out 2 waves of sword wave toward Elder Shur's face. Against Elder Shur, who only had 20% of his strength left, Ning Yu did not need to use his full strength. Just using the 3rd form of the supreme 9-Qing sword wave, the divine malevolent sword wave, was enough. As expected, Elder Shur did not dare to use the golden core due to the power of the spectral pill. He only gathered the remaining Yuan Qi in his palm and faced the divine malevolent sword wave head-on. Pucci! Without the golden core, Elder Shur was no match for Ning Yu. As soon as his palm touched the divine malevolent sword wave, he felt a burning pain in his palm. Underworld dominating palm. In the next moment, Ning Yu's eyes lit up. His 4th grade soul force wrapped around his wrist, and he sent out a palm print. Not good. The pain in his palm hadn't even disappeared when Elder Shur hurriedly raised his palm and punched towards the palm print. This time, not only did he feel a stabbing pain from his palm, but he also felt a tremor that came from the depths of his soul. The Netherworld Samsara Palm was a soul attack technique, and its might was extremely powerful. Even a half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artist would have to be extremely careful when facing it, not to mention Elder Shur, who only had 20% of his strength left. "You are unlucky to have met me." Ning Yu raised his absolute soul sword, and the phantom armor appeared around his body. He wanted to kill Elder Shur quickly. Whoosh! Whoosh! However, before Ning Yu could move, 2 figures swiftly appeared in front of him. Looking at the 2 familiar figures in front of him, Ning Yu was slightly startled. He immediately asked, "You've dealt with the top 3 martial artists on the Death Arena list?" The Dark Emperor raised his proud head and said, "Of course, those 3 small fries are not on the same order of magnitude as us. Dealing with them is just a matter of minutes." Hong Mo clearly did not want to be on the same side as the Dark Emperor. He leaned towards Ning Yu and said, "The 3 of them have just advanced to the half-step Yuan Dan stage and are unable to control the illusory golden cores perfectly." Ning Yu cut the crap. "Let's work together and kill that old fart." The Dark Emperor licked his lips and said, "The illusory golden cores of those 3 small fries contain too little energy. It's not enough for us to eat. Now we can have a feast." "You devoured their illusory golden cores?" Ning Yu was a little speechless. As expected of the sky-devouring hound, it devoured 3 illusory golden cores in the blink of an eye. Perhaps only the emperor of the sky-devouring hound clan could have such a stomach. Not to mention 3 illusory golden cores. The others would explode and die even if they devoured one. That old fart's illusory golden core is here. Suddenly, the Dark Emperor noticed Elder Shur's illusory golden core floating in the air. He hurriedly rushed towards it. "Wait, How could Ningyu allow the Dark Emperor to do as he pleased? He grabbed his tail and said in a deep voice, "You can't devour that illusory golden core." Why not? The Dark Emperor was puzzled. If you don't want to die, go devour that illusory golden core. Before Ningyu could say anything, Hong Mo beside him said indifferently, "If I'm not wrong, that illusory golden core has already been infected by the nether spirit pill. If you devour it, you will become a specter corpse." Holy **T. Although the Dark Emperor wanted to devour the illusory golden core, he did not dare to devour an illusory golden core that was infected by the nether spirit pill. Become a specter corpse? In an instant, the Dark Emperor raised his brows as though he had thought of something. "Ningyu, you said that the illusory golden core of that old fart was infected by the nether spirit pill? Why don't we use this opportunity to control him?" Swish! The Dark Emperor's words caused Ningyu's heart to skip a beat, and a hint of surprise surged into his heart. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? Earlier on, the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo were not around, so he had no way of controlling Elder Shur. Now that the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo had returned, it would not be difficult for the three of them to work together to control Elder Shur. Attack! Ningyu did things swiftly and decisively. He immediately rose from the ground and charged towards Elder Shur from the middle. Swish! Swish! The Dark Emperor and Hong Mo exchanged glances and blocked Elder Shur's path of retreat from the left and right. Run! When Ningyu and the others attacked, Elder Shur realized that something was amiss and hurriedly stomped on the ground, retreating far away. However, after losing the illusory golden core, his speed dropped by 80% and Ningyu and the others caught up to him in an instant. Bang! 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 Ningyu and the Dark Emperor each threw a punch at Elder Shur's chest. As they had to control Elder Shur, Ningyu and the others did not use their full strength. After controlling Elder Shur, they did not attack again. Dark Emperor, think of a way to get the illusory golden core over and insert it into this old fart's body. Ningyu said in a deep voice. The Dark Emperor did not waste any time and immediately retreated. Using his powerful senses and the energy in his body, he slowly moved the illusory golden core over. Ah! Ningyu's fist suddenly landed on Elder Shur's chest. Elder Shur's mouth instantly opened. The Dark Emperor seized the opportunity and forcefully inserted the illusory golden core into Elder Shur's mouth. You will not well. After swallowing the illusory golden core, Elder Shur's eyes were filled with fear. Before he could finish his sentence, he fell to the ground with a thud. 3 minutes later, Elder Shur stood up from the ground with a swoosh. Go! Seeing Elder Shur's appearance, Ningyu forced out a drop of blood essence and inserted it into Elder Shur's body. Buzz, buzz! Feeling the connection between him and Elder Shur, Ningyu unnaturally raised the corner of his mouth and said, Not bad, the nether spirit pill is indeed a heaven-defying pill. To think that it could control a peak half-step Yuan Dan martial artist so easily. Ningyu, with this old fart, our strength will at least double. The Dark Emperor was also a little excited and quickly said, I can't wait anymore. Let's quickly kill our way into the depths of the Mio Forest and capture the people of the Corpsine sect in one fell swoop. Waving his hand, Ningyu said, No rush, there are still some people here that have not been dealt with. Saying that, Ningyu slowly walked toward Wanzhong City. Chapter 215. Originally, Ningyu thought Wan Zhongqing was going to say something harsh, but after hearing Wan Zhongqing's words, he couldn't help but laugh. Isn't this a little too ridiculous? A middle-stage, true martial realm cultivator, the shopkeeper of Snow Domain Pavilion, actually said he wanted to commit suicide? Some people's world is really hard to understand. Shrugging, Ningyu said, If you want to commit suicide, I won't stop you. Hurry up and don't waste my time. Why are you talking nonsense with him? Just kill them, the Dark Emperor said impatiently. What a pig brain! Hong Emo rolled his eyes at the Dark Emperor and said disdainfully, if killing could solve the problem, Ning Yu would have already sent them to hell. This Wan Zhongqing is colluding with the experts of Corpse Sect. Ning Yu wants to use him to lure more experts out. Nodding his head, Ning Yu said that's right. Dark Emperor, you should learn from Hong Emo. Sometimes use your brain to solve problems, not your hands. Humph. No matter how smart your brain is, in the end, you still have to use your strength. The Dark Emperor coldly snorted. Wan Zhongqing, answer a few questions for me. Ignoring the Dark Emperor, Ning Yu said, First, who is the expert from Corpse Sect that contacted you? How strong is he? The one who contacted me is a genius from Corpse Sect's Ghost Palace. I heard he is ranked 8th in the Ghost Palace. Wan Zhongqing quickly said, I seem to have heard you say that you want to exchange for nether spirit pills with Corpse Sect. After pondering for a moment, Ning Yu said, What do you plan to use to exchange? This, Wan Zhongqing fell into deep thought. He obviously didn't want to say it. But thinking about how even someone as strong as Elder Shur was controlled by the nether spirit pills, Wan Zhongqing gritted his teeth and said, Linglong fruit! This time, the Vice Pavilion Master gave us 4 Linglong fruits to exchange for 4 grade, 7 nether spirit pills. Linglong fruit. Hearing this, Ning Yu's expression changed, and he revealed an ecstatic expression. The Linglong fruit, a 7th grade fruit, was the best pill to expand the cyclone. If an ordinary martial artist swallowed the exquisite fruit, it was very likely that the cyclone would double in size. As the cyclone grew larger, its strength would naturally increase. The exquisite fruit had a price but no supply, and it was basically not circulated in the market. Take out the exquisite fruit. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu said indifferently, The exquisite fruit is not with me. Wan Zhongqing shook his head. It's not on you? Where is it? Ning Yu was puzzled. It's on Wen Yi. Wan Zhongqing explained. Wen Yi is the son of the Snowfield Pavilion's deputy pavilion lord. He is ranked 2,500th on the True Martial Battle list, and is in the late stage of the True Martial realm. Old Stone and I were the first to come to contact the people of the Corpse Sect. Young Master Wen will be here soon. Wan Zhongqing continued. Young Master Wen is extremely powerful. A month ago, Elder Shur sparred with him, but the result was a draw. Hiss! A martial artist, ranked 2,500th on the True Martial Battle list, is so powerful? Ning Yu sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Originally, he thought that he could rank in the top 1,000 of the True Martial Battle list. But now it seemed that the competition in the True Martial Battle list was very fierce. With his current strength, he estimated that he could rank around 2,800th on the True Martial Battle list. After the shock, Ning Yu was a little puzzled. Lu Wei was the daughter of the Snowfield Pavilion's pavilion lord, and her strength was only at the early Xiantian realm. How come the son of the deputy pavilion lord had already reached the late stage of the True Martial realm? Young Master Wen is already 35 years old this year. Wan Zhongqing continued. Depending on the situation, Young Master Wen will soon come. If he doesn't see me and Old Stone at that time. For exquisite fruits, I must get them. Although the exquisite fruit was only effective for the first time, but the fertile water should not flow to outsiders. For exquisite fruits, one for himself, one for the Dark Emperor Red Devil, and the last one for Lu Wei. Once he got the exquisite fruit, Ning Yu was confident that he could split his cyclone into 15, or even reach the limit of a Xiantian realm martial artist, 16. I have told you everything. Can you let me go now? Wan Zhongqing cautiously asked. I never said that I would let you go. With a cold glint in his eyes, Ning Yu rose from the ground and appeared in front of Wan Zhongqing. The soul-breaking sword suddenly pierced the latter's chest. Puff! Withdrawing the soul-breaking sword, Ningyu lightly said, "You must die because you know too much." Plop! Until the last moment of his death, Wan Chongqing still had some doubts. How could a Xiantian complete realm martial artist be so strong? But these doubts, he could only think about them in the underworld. Voila! Ningyu killed Wan Chongqing in a domineering manner, causing a sensation in the surroundings. However, with the dark gold spirit corpse watching, the surrounding true martial realm martial artists did not dare to speak loudly. They could only whisper. Devil, he really is a devil. Devil? Compared to young Masterwind, he should be considered good. He won't kill us too, right? It's hard to say. If we heard the conversation between him and Wan Chongqing, we might be buried here too. After killing Wan Chongqing, Ningyu stood at the same spot, his brows furrowed. Killing one person was easy. What was difficult was killing dozens of martial artists at once. Ningyu was not a saint. He would not let his enemies go. Although the surrounding martial artists did not pose a threat to him, they were in cahoots with Wan Chongqing. If he allowed them to leave, he would only expose himself earlier. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu shouted, "Kill!" "I was waiting for you to say that." Just as Ningyu's voice fell, the Dark Emperor licked his lips, his figure flashed, and he rushed into the crowd. Shio! As for the Red Devil, he turned into a red flying sword, killing left and right in the crowd. Roar! The dark gold spirit corpse also roared and joined the battle. Heaven Fiend sword wave. Ningyu's eyes turned cold. He waved the absolute soul sword in his hand, and in a split second, several sword waves formed, blasting towards the crowd. Chi 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 chi. Although dozens of true realm martial artists were strong, against 4 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists, they could only swallow their grievances. After a quarter of an hour, the dozens of true realm martial artists that Wan Chongqing brought were all killed by Ningyu and the rest. Not a single one was spared. Not bad, not bad. There are actually 100,000 high-grade Yuan crystals. This won't do. The late-stage true realm martial artists have nothing on them. Not bad. Another 100,000 high-grade Yuan crystals. After killing these martial artists, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil began to search their bodies. These martial artists were all in the true martial realm. They naturally had a lot of high-grade Yuan crystals on them. In just a few minutes, the Dark Emperor and the rest had already found 500,000 high-grade Yuan crystals. Not good. Leave quickly. Just as the Dark Emperor was busy, Ningyu's expression changed, and he immediately put the dark gold spirit corpse and the ghost corpse into his storage ring, and rushed towards the depths of the mean forest. Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil were slightly stunned, and immediately released their perception. F***CK run. As soon as he released his soul power, the Dark Emperor's expression changed, and he didn't have time to continue searching and quickly ran. This was because the Dark Emperor sensed that there were 2 figures rushing over. One of them was in the late stage of the true martial realm, and the other had reached a terrifying. Chapter 216. Rustle. Not long after Ningyu and the rest left, 2 figures appeared in the area. Swoosh! Seeing the corpses on the ground, the expression of one of the figures darkened. The other figure glanced at the corpses and said, "Young Masterwind, they were just killed." "I know." With a grave expression, the man called Young Masterwind said, "Old He, do you know who killed them?" Old He frowned and released his perception to check. A moment later, Old He said, "These martial artists were killed with a single strike. To be able to do this, their strength is at least at the half-step Yuan Dan stage, and Sherway isn't here." Speaking up to this point, Old He paused for a moment before continuing. "Sherway's strength is at the pinnacle amongst the half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists. If Sherway didn't betray us, then the martial artist who made a move is at least in the Yuan Dan realm. Yuan Dan stage martial artist, frowning when he said, Old he, do you think it's the work of the corpse sect? Corpse sect? Old, he was stunned for a moment before shaking his head. It shouldn't be. They know that the Ling Long fruits are with us, so killing Sherway is meaningless. Let's go. The capital can't wait any longer and is in urgent need of spirit pills. After pondering for a moment, when he said, For Ling Long fruits, we want to exchange them for 4 grade 7 spirit pills. As soon as the word pill fell, when he rose from the ground and his body turned into a blur as he charged into the depths of the forest. Behind him, he retracted his perception and followed. Swoosh! At the same time, when they were about to reach the end of the forest, Ning Yu stopped. Ning Yu, what's going on? Seeing Ning Yu stop, the Dark Emperor asked in puzzlement. With a finger by his mouth, Ning Yu pointed into the distance. Following the direction of Ning Yu's finger, there was a cave not far away. The cave was not strange. What was strange was that there was a huge demonic beast lying at the entrance of the cave. To be more precise, that demonic beast was the enlarged version of the Dark Emperor, the Hell Dog. Oh, it's your kind. Beside him, the Red Fiend laughed. Red Skin, I won't treat you as a mute if you don't speak. The Dark Emperor was a little unhappy. He was a dignified heaven-swallowing dog clan, and how could the big fellow at the entrance of the cave compare to him? He was clearly a pug. Be careful, that's a hellhound. He's already reached the peak of Tier 4, and his strength is comparable to a half-step Origin Core Realm martial artist. Ning Yu said solemnly. Ning Yu did not expect to find a mountain at the end of the Myolan forest. Moreover, there was also a cave there. Moreover, there was even a peak Tier 4 hellhound guarding the entrance of the cave. From the looks of it, it was very likely that the experts of the Corpse sect were hiding in the cave. Just the demonic beast at the entrance of the cave already had the strength of a half-step Yuan Dan stage martial artist. One could imagine how strong the Corpse sect martial artists inside the cave were. Although Ning Yu wanted to kill everyone from the Corpse sect, he knew that it would be very dangerous to just charge in like this. Suddenly, Ning Yu seemed to have thought of something and asked, By the way, Dark Emperor, where did you find the Corpse sect cultivators? Where? Hearing this, the Dark Emperor was stunned for a moment. He immediately slapped his thigh and said, If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten. We didn't find the Corpse sect cultivators here. We still have to walk for about 10 minutes. Another 10 minutes? Ning Yu was a little dumbfounded. He had speculated for a long time. But in the end, it was very likely that the cultivators in the cave were not from the Corpse sect. Rolling his eyes, Ning Yu said, When you came last time, was the hellhound at the entrance of the cave? How would I know? At that time, I was busy looking for the Corpse sect people and didn't pay attention. The Dark Emperor shrugged and said, Ning Yu, I can feel that there is a very powerful energy in this cave. Hong Mo said with a frown. Very powerful energy? Ning Yu said, Do you know what's inside? Shaking his head, Hong Mo continued, We have to go in to determine. However, there's one thing I am sure of. The last time I came here, there was no such energy inside. At the side, the Dark Emperor said, What should we do? Should we go in? After thinking for a moment, Ning Yu gritted his teeth and said, Go in! You can't catch the wolf without risking the child. Ning Yu was very clear that if he waited until when Yi and the Corpse sect people met up, it would be very disadvantageous for him. Besides, whether there were people from the Corpse sect in the cave or not was another matter. If there weren't, wouldn't he have made a profit? Being indecisive was destined to not accomplish anything great. Swish, swish, swish. In the next moment, Ning Yu and the others turned into 3 afterimages and rushed toward the entrance of the cave. Hey, big stupid dog! Why aren't you kneeling and greeting your grandpa Dark Emperor? Arriving in front of the cave, the Dark Emperor's aura was released and suppressed the hellhound. Hiss! feeling the aura of the Dark Emperor. The innate fear caused the Hellhound to tremble. The Dark Emperor and the Hellhound belonged to the canine family. To be precise, the Hellhound was a distant relative of the heaven-devouring dog. The fear from the depths of its bloodline made it impossible for the Hellhound to resist. Swish! Since the Hellhound didn't resist, Ningyu and the others didn't plan to provoke it. They immediately raised their speed to the limit and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Buzz! As soon as he entered the cave, Ningyu's expression changed, and he hurriedly spread out his perception. Because the cave was very dark, extremely dark. In such a dark environment, Ningyu's eyes seemed to be blind. Furthermore, in this unknown place, Ningyu didn't dare to burn his origin energy to illuminate, so he could only release his perception. You too follow behind me. A mere darkness won't stop me. The Dark Emperor patted his chest and swaggered to the front. The Dark Emperor was a heaven-devouring dog, so his vision was very good. Although it was incomparably dark here, his eyes were shining brightly, and he could clearly see everything in front of him. Dark Emperor, be careful. Walking behind the Dark Emperor, you couldn't help but remind him. The Dark Emperor was reckless, so Ningyu was really afraid that he would cause trouble. Don't worry, I'll handle it. He revealed a relieved expression to Ningyu, and then quickly walked into the cave. After walking for about 15 minutes, the Dark Emperor suddenly stopped. So this is the origin crystal mine. The Dark Emperor revealed a look of joy and said, "Let's go." Not good. However, before the Dark Emperor could finish his sentence, his expression changed drastically. All the hair on his body stood on end as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Swish, swish, swish. 3 cold lights shot out from the depths of the cave, and with an extremely shocking speed, they attacked Ningyu and the other 2. With his eyes focused, Ningyu immediately took out the Absolute Soul Sword and slashed at the cold light. The Dark Emperor flapped his tail, and a strong wind swept out, colliding with the cold light. As for the Red Devil, he transformed into a red flying sword and clashed head-on with the cold light. Crash! After the cold light dissipated, the pitch-black cave was suddenly illuminated by rays of light. Chapter 217. For complete innate realm young martial artists, 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm elders, and the rest of the martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm. There were more than 10 of them. Behind them, there were 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm ghostly corpses. Even if a Yuan Dan realm martial artist met with such a lineup, they would have to avoid it. The 3 of them are not considered strong. Why didn't the Hell Dog stop them? A skinny martial artist frowned. Maybe the Hell Dog is not at the cave entrance. Another young martial artist shrugged and said casually, "Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and get to work. Take care of these small fries before when he arrives." The complete innate realm martial artist at the front waved his hand and said, "For exquisite fruits, just nice for the 4 of us. If we wait for Luo Ping and Qi Jiang to arrive, they might ruin our plan." Luo Ping, Qi Jiang. Hearing this martial artist's words, the eyes of the other 3 complete innate realm martial artists narrowed, revealing a look of resentment. The 4 of them were called Su Xingyan, Hu Yan, and I Jingzhong and Hong Wei. They were ranked from 8th to 11th in the Ghost Talent Hall. The reason why they were resentful towards Qi Jiang and Luo Ping was because in the previous Ghost Talent Hall assessment, Qi Jiang and Luo Ping won by scheming. After winning, Qi Jiang and Luo Ping, who were weaker than the 4 of them, were ranked in front of them. In the Ghost Talent Hall, with every rank lower, the treatment would be much worse. If they could get the exquisite fruits this time, they had the confidence to fight for the top 5 in the next Ghost Talent Hall assessment. Hong Wei, go kill them. Su Xingyan was ranked 8th in the Ghost Talent Hall and was the leader of the 4 brothers. No problem. Hong Wei was ranked 11th in the Ghost Talent Hall and his strength was slightly weaker than the other 3 martial artists. Although his strength was weaker, it was comparable to Qi Jiang. Swoosh! Hong Wei's figure flickered as he dashed out. His palm carried a violent fluctuation of yuan qi as it blasted towards Ningyu. Facing Hong Wei's strong attack, Ningyu's eyes turned cold. The yuan qi in his sea of consciousness gathered on his wrist, and he pushed out. Pa! The next moment, Hong Wei's fist collided with Ningyu's palm. Palm and fist collided. It was clear that Ningyu had the upper hand. Feeling the immense force coming from his fist, Hong Wei's expression changed, and he hurriedly increased the injection of essence. You want to compete with me in terms of yuan qi density? The corners of Ningyu's mouth curled up in response to Hong Wei's foolish actions. Immediately, the yuan in his sea of consciousness flowed into his wrist in an unending stream. Forming a stalemate with Hong Wei, Ningyu had 13 cyclones. Among the Xiantian realm martial artists, he had never seen anyone with more vitality than him. Although Hong Wei was ranked 11th in the Ghost Talent Hall, he was still much weaker than Ningyu when it came to yuan qi. Puchi! A moment later, Ningyu seized the opportunity and struck out with his left hand. His left hand hit Hong Wei's chest without any deviation. Ningyu did not hold back at all. He used almost all his strength and sent Hong Wei flying far away, making contact with the stone wall. Hong Wei spat out fresh blood and his face turned pale. The paleness of his face was secondary. The main thing was that Hong Wei felt embarrassed. He was injured by a Xiantian realm martial artist in front of so many people. How was he going to establish himself in the future? This face, he must get it back. I want you dead. Hong Wei gritted his teeth and stood up from the ground. He wanted to rush towards Ningyu again. Shua! However, before Hong Wei could move, Su Xingyan's figure rushed out and landed in front of Hong Wei. Go back first. Let me deal with this kid. Su Xingyan waved his hand and turned to look at Ningyu. You are very strong. I finally know why you could enter the cave. It is because the hellhound at the entrance was not your match. Tell me why you entered the cave. At this moment, Su Xingyan was not in a hurry to kill Ningyu. He wanted to understand the situation. After all, with Ningyu's strength and his wisdom when facing Hong Wei, he would not barge into the cave for no reason. It's simple. Young Master Wen asked me to come here. His heart skipped a beat. Since Su Xingyan and the others didn't know his purpose, Ningyu might as well talk nonsense. After all, bragging was free. Young Master Wen, let me first confirm if your nether spirit pill is effective. How do you prove that you are Wen Yi's men? Su Xingyan was not stupid. He did not believe Ningyu's words. Shrugging, Ningyu said, If you don't believe me, there is nothing I can do. However, changing the topic, Ningyu continued, Young Master Wen said that if he is not sure that your spirit pill is effective, he will not take out the exquisite fruit. Exquisite fruit. Hearing the words, exquisite fruit, Su Xingyan already believed Ningyu. After all, in this transaction, there were very few people who knew about the exquisite fruit. Wen Yi's group probably only had 3 or 4 people who knew about it. Since Ningyu could mention the exquisite fruit, it meant that he was most likely sent by young Master Wen. After pondering for a while, Su Xingyan signaled the 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm elders with his eyes. The 2 elders understood and immediately controlled the 2 ghostly corpses to come before Ningyu. These 2 are the ghostly corpses that we controlled with the spirit pill. They were half-step Yuan Dan realm warriors when they were alive. We only spent 2 rank 7 spirit pill to control them. Pointing at the 2 ghostly corpses, Su Xingyan said, If your young master would obtain the rank 7 spirit pill, he could even control the current pavilion master of Snow Domain Pavilion. Pretending to touch the ghostly corpses, Ningyu nodded his head and said, Not bad, the effect is not bad. I will inform young Master Wen, and ask him to come here immediately." As he said this, Ningyu took out a piece of white paper from his pocket. A blue flame danced on his fingertip as he lit the white paper. The 280th rank of the mystical flame ranking, Azure Spiritual Fire. Seeing the blue flame on Ning Yu's fingertip, Su Xingyan's heart shuddered. He was even more convinced of Ning Yu's identity. Ning Yu's strength was not weaker than Hong Wei's. In addition to the fact that he could control the Azure Spiritual Fire, it was very likely that he was a genius of Snow Domain Pavilion. Birds of a feather flocked together. For such a genius to be together with one E, it was only natural. "Dan Yu, may I know your names?" As the white paper burned, Ning Yu walked forward and said with a smile, "Dan Yu, you are the genius who made it to the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower?" Hearing Ning Yu's words, Su Xingyan was slightly startled. Then he said in surprise, What genius? I was just lucky." Ning Yu laughed. "Brother Dan Yu, don't be humble. To be able to make it to the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower, it is enough to prove your talent and strength." Su Xingyan completely let down his guard against Ning Yu. They had heard the news of a genius making it to the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower. Moreover, there was a rumor that Dan Yu and Snow Domain Pavilion had an ambiguous relationship. It was very possible that he had already joined Snow Domain Pavilion. Moreover, Ning Yu knew about the exquisite fruit. Su Xingyan could not find a reason to suspect Ning Yu. "My name is Su Xingyan. The one who was beaten back by you was Hong Wei." Chapter 218. The Hong Mo, the Dark Emperor, my two best assistants. After introducing the Dark Emperor and the Hong Mo, Ning Yu asked, "Brother Su, there seems to be a yuan crystal mine in this cave, right?" Su Xingyan nodded and said, "There is indeed a yuan crystal mine. Come, let's talk inside." As he spoke, Su Xingyan led the way into the depths of the cave. Without any hesitation, Ning Yu and the rest followed closely behind. Since they had decided to put on a show, they had to do it well and not make any mistakes. Furthermore, Ning Yu wanted to find a chance to get rid of Su Xingyan and the rest. They had to be careful and not reveal their true colors. "Humph! Big brother, I will guard the entrance." Since he was defeated by Ning Yu, Hong Wei felt embarrassed and immediately snorted before heading out of the cave. Brother Su, if it is not convenient, I think we should retreat to the entrance and come in with young Master Wen." Ning Yu scratched his head awkwardly as he watched Hong Wei leave. "There is no need. It is just a misunderstanding. Hong Wei will not take it to heart." Su Xingyan waved his hand and said, "I will bring you to see what is special about this yuan crystal mine." "Oh, something special? I am looking forward to seeing it." Ning Yu raised his eyebrows in surprise. "Ha ha ha, you will know when we get there." Laughing, Su Xingyan quickened his pace. A moment later, the narrow cave suddenly opened up. Looking at the empty space in front of him, Ning Yu frowned and said, "This is the end of the cave." "No, this is only the end of the first stage of the cave." Shaking his head, Su Xingyan walked up to a stone wall. Dense yuan qi appeared on his palm, and he slammed it against the stone wall. "Kacha!" In the next moment, a hole appeared in the stone wall. Whoosh! The stone wall split open, and a piercing cold light shot out from within. A high-grade yuan crystal mine. Ning Yu's eyes widened in disbelief as he felt the powerful yuan qi that was contained within the cold light. Originally, he thought that inside the cave was a low-grade essence crystal mine, or at most a middle-grade essence crystal mine. Who would have thought that it was actually a high-grade essence crystal mine? In the Great Xia Kingdom, every time a high-grade essence crystal mine appeared, it would definitely become the focal point of the various sections. The high-grade origin crystal mine before him seemed to have been mined for a long time. So why didn't it attract the other powers to fight over it? "We discovered this high-grade origin crystal mine a long time ago. There aren't many high-grade origin crystals stored inside, and we've almost mined them all out. Perhaps sensing Ningyu's confusion, Su Xingyan said, there should still be 20 million pieces of high-grade origin crystals inside. It will probably take another month for all of them to be extracted. A total of 40 million high-grade essence crystals. It's a medium-sized essence crystal mine, Ningyu muttered. Let's go in and take a look. Right at this moment, Su Xingyan pointed at the hole that had just been blasted open and said, the yuan qi contained within is extremely dense, and cultivating there will yield twice the results with half the effort. And, Ning, you didn't expect that Su Xingyan would invite him in. One had to know that such a high-grade origin crystal mine wouldn't normally allow outsiders to enter. What exactly was Su Xingyan selling in his gourd? Ningyu didn't know. Counter-soldiers with arms, water with an earth weir. After thinking for a second, Ningyu said, I would like to see what the interior of a high-grade origin crystal mine looks like. Great. Straightforward indeed. Su Xingyan said to his left and right, you guys stay here temporarily. I will go in with Brother Danyu. Ningyu's heart shuddered as he became cautious in secret. Su Xingyan's behavior was rather abnormal, and there was definitely something fishy about it. Could it be that Su Xingyan discovered his true identity? Ningyu didn't dare to be 100% sure and could only be extremely careful. Once Su Xingyan made a move on him, he would retaliate immediately. Dark Emperor, you guys stay behind too. After musing for a second, Ningyu followed up. If it was just Su Xingyan alone, Ningyu wouldn't be afraid. After all, his current combat power was much stronger compared to when he fought with Qi Jiang. Facing Su Xingyan alone, Ningyu could even kill him. Buzz! Just entering the gap, Ningyu felt a surge of origin qi hitting him in the face. The density of origin qi is actually so high, as expected of the interior of a high-grade origin crystal mine. His eyes narrowed. Ningyu felt somewhat astonished. Compared to the outside of the cave, the density of origin qi here was at least 3 times that of outside. The origin qi here isn't considered dense yet. Inside is the true paradise. Su Xingyan smiled faintly and continued walking inside. While walking inside, Ningyu observed the surrounding situation. He discovered that even though the passageway got narrower and narrower, the high-grade origin crystals embedded on the stone walls on both sides of the passageway also increased. In the end, Ningyu even discovered supreme-grade origin crystals. It wasn't rare for a high-grade origin crystal mine to have supreme-grade origin crystals appear. But to have so many supreme-grade origin crystals appear was rather unusual. An ordinary high-grade origin crystal mine would at most have dozens of supreme-grade origin crystals. But now, Ningyu already discovered no less than 20 origin crystals embedded on the stone walls of the passageway. Could it be that there's an accompanying supreme-grade origin crystal mine inside? Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have thought of something. His eyes revealed a shocked expression. Creak! Just at this time, Su Xingyan stopped in front of a stone room embedded with high-grade origin crystals. He opened the stone door and walked in. After releasing his soul perception and confirming that there weren't any hidden martial artists in the surroundings, Ningyu then carefully walked into the stone room. The stone room was as empty as the wilderness. There was nothing at all. Ningyu was taken aback and quickly said, Brother Su, if there's anything you need, just say it. As long as I can help, I definitely won't decline. All right, with Brother Danyu's words, I won't beat around the bush. Su Xingyan gave a thumbs up and said, I want to ask you to help me kill 2 people. Kill people? Who? Ningyu asked. Luo Ping, Qi Jiang. Su Xingyan said in a low voice. Swoosh. Hearing that, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't show it on his face. Instead, he asked without batting an eyelid, Who are they? Luo Ping is ranked 6th in the Ghost Talent Hall. Qi Jiang is ranked 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall, Su Xingyan explained. I think you overestimate me. Genius fighters ranked 6th and 7th in the Ghost Talent Hall. How can I be their opponent? Shaking his head, Ningyu said. And I want to live a little longer. I don't want to die yet. Hee, Brother Danyu, you're exaggerating. Su Xingyan smiled. Luo Ping and Qi Jiang's abilities aren't as high as they are in the Ghost Talent Hall. If I'm not wrong, their current abilities are only slightly stronger than Hongwei. I saw your abilities just now. You easily defeated Hongwei. So killing Luo Ping and Qi Jiang shouldn't be a problem for you. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.